However, it is being delayed as further adjustments are to be carried out. It's after speculation that a cap of €350,000 would be included in the scheme, which in turn would have excluded around 40% of MICA-affected householders. Donegal Deputy Thomas Pringle says those affected have waited long enough, and he says that the government should stop leaking and sort it once and for all.
And that's just not good enough, and it's not on for the MICA families, because, I mean, this is a very serious issue, and the government needs to treat it as such and needs to stop this ongoing delay and actually come out and put once and for all a scheme in place that deals with 100% redress, and that families can actually know what's ahead of them in the years to come.
A man remains in Garda custody this morning after being arrested following an incident at a domestic dwelling near Ballybuffet. Gardaí were called to the residence yesterday afternoon and the man was arrested on suspicion of firearms offences. He is currently being detained at Letterkenny Garda Station. Hospitality groups will be challenged about their compliance with COVID rules when they meet government officials today. They've been asked to meet the Department of the Taoiseach this afternoon following ESRI research. It found over a third of customers in restaurants and pubs aren't having their COVID certs checked. But Adrian Cummins from the Restaurants Association says there's no grounds for closing the sector in the run-up to Christmas.
It's vital that we keep the economy open fully, and there is no going back, as the politicians have said to us already. But we also need to protect public health at all times. We've always said that we would implement the COVID pass, but we also need to find out at what percentage of the overall population that the COVID pass will be stood down. Is it at 100% of full vaccination? Is it at 99, 98?
And finally, Donegal-based Nomadic Dairy has been sold in a €29 million deal. Specialist food investment group BioVest has partnered with Development Capital to acquire the company from Donegal Investment Group. Nomadic Dairy currently employs 80 people in Killygordon, supplying multiple products across the UK and Ireland. For weather now, patchy rain or drizzle will clear quickly this morning to leave a day of sunny spells and passing showers. Highest temperatures of around 11 to 13 degrees. That's all from Highland Radio News for now. We'll be back with news again at 10 o'clock. Until then, good morning.
Celebrate Disney Plus Day with an unmissable new lineup and an unbeatable price offer for this week only. From Friday, stream Marvel Studios' Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
You can't outrun who you really are.
Blockbuster action with Jungle Cruise.
Here we go.
And exclusives like the critically acclaimed new series Dope Sick.
This is the biggest drug in the world.
Don't miss this incredible lineup for just $1.99 for your first month of Disney Plus. Subscription required. Offer valid 8 to 14 November for 18 plus consumers without an active Disney Plus subscription. Auto renews at $8.99 per month.
Are your tyres ready for winter? Call into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello, good morning to you. 3 minutes past 9 on this Tuesday, the 9th of November, and I hope you're well. You're welcome along to another edition of the 9 till Noon Show, and it's a busy one as always. 3 hours to keep you entertained, to keep you engaged, hopefully. How do you stay engaged with us? Well, you text or WhatsApp the programme. Even if you've never texted into a radio show before, it's just sharing your point of view with the tens of thousands of people listening to the show. 086 60 25,000, 086 60 25,000. If you want to give us a call, you do so by dialing 07491 25,000. Caroline taking your calls there, and your emails can be sent through to us at comments@highlandradio.com. And a very good morning and welcome along to those of you who are joining us on our social media, where you can watch the programme daily. Check out our YouTube channel, Highland Radio Ireland. You can watch, like and subscribe there. And the same goes for our Facebook pages, /Highland Hub or /Highland Radio News and Sport. Chat away there too. Right, the papers this morning, starting with the Donegal People's Press, and we'll start and end with a sports story, I suppose. It's a wonderful picture on the front of the paper that just captures emotion, isn't it? It's simple but so effective. The joy in the face of St. Eunan's captain, Niall O'Donnell, as he is embraced by supporter Brian Kelly, says it all. O'Donnell captained his team to a famous victory over the favourites at Niamh Connell in an intriguing Donegal Senior Football Championship final at Sean McCool Park in Ballybofey on Sunday. It was the Letterkenny club's first senior championship title since 2014, and it came just a week after the club's hurlers lifted their first senior county title since 1972. St Eunan's also captured the Senior B and Intermediate ladies titles. The Derry Journal today, a Inishowen-born priest says every family bereaved during the Troubles must have access to an effective investigation and to a process of justice regardless of the perpetrator. Reverend Michael Canny made his remarks during a 50th anniversary mass for a mother of 6 killed by the British Army in Derry in November 1971. Kathleen Thompson, just 47, was shot dead by a British soldier as she stood outside her home at Rathlin Gardens. On to the national newspapers now, and the Irish Independent continues its coverage, as do many of the papers, of this shocking, brutal and intriguing story, if the truth be told. The campaign of violence and intimidation targeted against Kevin Lunny will not stop until the paymaster behind the conspiracy is unmasked and brought to justice, the co-director has warned. After the Special Criminal Court convicted 3 Dublin men yesterday for the abduction and horrific torture of Mr Lunny in September 2019, the focus now turns to the ongoing Garda investigation to identify the individual who funded the attack, who is behind it all. This person is also suspected of being behind more sinister threats to the safety of directors at Quinn Industrial Holdings over the past year, which Gardaí have described as credible. In an exclusive interview, Mr Lunny's co-director John McCartan told the Irish Independent, the one question that remains to be answered is the identity of the person who paid them to abduct and torture Kevin. And obviously no one involved in that is giving up the so-called paymaster, are they? The Irish Times tells us that government officials will today warn the hospitality industry they must improve compliance with measures to prevent COVID-19 as cases of the virus across the country remain high. Representatives of pubs, restaurants and the live entertainment industry will be told the government wants maximum compliance with rules such as the requirement for these controversial vaccine passes. The meeting later today comes as the latest figures show that almost a third of pubs and restaurants inspected by the Health Service Executive are still being found not to be fully compliant with COVID-19 regulations. A separate survey from the Economic and Social Research Institute showed the number of people not having their COVID passes checked in pubs has shot up from 21% to 37%. For restaurants, 34% of those surveys did not have their COVID passes checked in October. Now, I'm not sure if this accounts for any of the increase, but I presume pubs and restaurants in their local community know from previous visits who isn't able to produce the documentation, and if it's a regular customer, are they asking them every time? Could that be skewing the statistics? I don't know, but they're going to have a meeting later, as you heard from Adrian Cummings there. They want a date for the certs to be scrapped altogether. It's a reasonable question. What is the vaccinated threshold before they don't serve a purpose? But that's not going to be on the government's agenda short to medium term anyway. You can be sure of that. It won't even be discussed today, I would doubt. But we'll be discussing it a little bit further later on in the morning. Keep your, or get in your comments on that 086 60 25,000. What do you think about this? If you got experience of this out and about, it is something that comes up from time to time on this programme, but I just wonder if it's coming to a head. Hundreds of children's soccer matches have been cancelled next weekend due to a surging level of threats to referees. I mean, is it happening on a grand scale, the scale that would require such action, I wonder? Constant harassment from parents, coaches and players has taken its toll on volunteer referees at 2 of Ireland's biggest underage soccer leagues, the North Dublin Schoolboys League and the Metropolitan Girls League. Tony Gaines, honorary secretary of the NDSL MGL, said in a statement, "This is a sad day for football. I've just been informed that all referees in the NDSL and MGL are withdrawing their services this weekend because of constant abuse and threatening behaviour from managers, players, coaches and supporter. supporters this weekend. A female referee, her first of 3 games, was abused so badly from the time she entered the pitch that she decided she was not taking any more abuse. She's now decided to give up refereeing entirely. So are you maybe a former ref? Now, this is focused in 2 specific areas, but I presume the problems aren't unique to that. In fact, I know they're not, because we've discussed it before in this programme. But are you someone who was a referee and simply packed it in because of the abuse you were getting? Are you a parent or guardian who goes to these games and you're concerned as to what you see on the sidelines? 086 60 25,000. Get involved in that conversation. 086 60 25,000 or call Caroline 07491 25,000. And your communication with us is in absolute confidence, of course, as I hope you would appreciate. The Sun today tells us that Justice Minister Helen McEntee, well, she's told how there have been times when she hasn't felt safe in her role as a politician. The Fine Gael TD made the claims at the Association of Garda Sergeant and Inspectors conference yesterday. The AGSI's Our Voice for Your Future conference is being held in Killarney. Minister McEntee, who was addressing her first AGSI conference, vowed to address the issue of safety for Ireland's politicians. She made the claims after recent protests were held outside the home of Taoiseach Leo Varadkar and RTE star Joe Duffy. When asked if she felt safe, the Justice Minister said, the vast majority of the time, yes. Have I felt certain situations where I haven't been? Yes. But I think we need to be measured in our response. That's what she says. Now, on to the Irish... Look, there's a lot of people who don't feel safe walking the streets anywhere, let alone, regular citizens. They don't feel safe. It's not just politicians. And that's not because of any certain elements. It's because of a societal issue. It's always been the case. It's nothing to do with what we're going through at the moment. And others feel that, if they report something, it's not followed up as well as it should. So as to say, maybe it's for an overhaul. Right, the Irish Daily Star. Oil, this is what Eamon Ryan got his second test to go and see. You've got the COP26 is ongoing in Glasgow, right? Apparently it's all about saving this planet. It's our last roll of the dice, but the oil and gas giants are there in their droves. They have more people at COP26 than the largest country delegation, according to analysis of the UN provisional list of attendees. So this is like, if the risk is the same, this is like representatives of the smoking industry attending a HSE conference, isn't it? And lobbying there. That's how it feels if the threat is as real as most of us accept. Others don't, though. That's why I'm choosing my language the way I am. The research carried out by the Corporate Accountability Corporate European Observatory Glasgow calls out polluters and Global Witness, what a name, found at least 503 fossil fuel lobbyists have been able to exert their influence at the climate summit. That's more than the combined number of delegates from the 8 countries worst affected by climate change in the past 20 years. Puerto Rico, Myanmar, Haiti, Philippines, Mozambique, Bahamas, Bangladesh and Pakistan, and around twice as many as the UNFCCC's official indigenous constituency. A total of 27 countries, including Canada, Russia and Brazil, also registered fossil fuel lobbyists as part of the official delegations. Are they taking the hand at us, I wonder? Sometimes it feels like that. And finally, in sport, the back page of the Mirror today, Rio Ferdinand believes Manchester United must axe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ferdinand is the first Old Trafford legend and pundit to speak out against his former teammate and warned the baton should be handed to a new manager. But who? The former England defender, talking on the Vibe with 5 YouTube show, thinks the time has come for the club to act. He praised Solskjaer for what he has done in his 3 years in charge, but does not believe he can take United forward. Ferdinand said, the biggest thing for me is I don't see a philosophy. I don't see an identity. When I go and see my team and they get beat, that's fine. It happens, but I want to see what they're about. And a lot of the commentary coming from, obviously, players with Manchester United during the glory years, harping back to a very different era, I presume. But what do you think? Are you a Manchester United fan or not? Do you want Ollie at the wheel? It's more opposition fans chanting that now, it seems, than actual Manchester United fans. Comments on anything there to 086 60 25,000 or call us on 07491 25,000.
The newspapers are courtesy of Kelly Centra, Mountaintop, Letterkenny.
Get your tyres ready for winter. Call into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
As you start rediscovering Northern Ireland again, we want you to explore with confidence. That's why we've introduced the We're Good to Go industry standard for tourism and hospitality businesses. So you know they've agreed to follow COVID-19 safety guidelines, like social distancing, following the recommended cleaning processes and undergoing spot checks. So you can enjoy your break to the full. Look out for the safety symbol for businesses that are good to go. Northern Ireland, we're good to go. Brought to you by Tourism Northern Ireland in partnership with UK national tourism bodies.
Most people say that Donegal is the coolest place on the planet, but up here we know that sometimes it can be the coldest. Charles Bunner & Sons Ballybuffet is the one-stop shop for all your heating needs. We have a huge range of multi-fuel and wood pellet stoves and ranges, spare parts for all major stove and range brands, plumbing and bathroom ware, all at exceptional prices. So visit our showrooms where our friendly and experienced team will be ready to help you. Charles Bunner & Sons Ballybuffet and the stovestore.ie, where you can always do a good deal better.
You'll find all the best toys at Foy's Ballybuffet. There's great value on all the latest toys, including ride-ons, bikes and bear go-karts, with new deliveries arriving every week. Shop online 24/7 at toysatfoys.com. Foy's can ship to your door with free delivery on all orders over €50. Shop local and find all your toys at Foy's Ballybuffet or online at toysatfoys.com.
Throughout Ireland, change is happening. Together we can build a community of support to empower those living with dementia. Highland Radio, proud to support Dementia Understand Together. Brought to you by the HSC.
Visit Century Complex. Treat yourself to a tasty meal at Backstage Bar and Grill, an exciting movie at Century Cinemas, or let the little ones explore Century Play. Call us on 074 9121 or check out our website centurycinemas.ie for more information on Century Complex.
The Groom's Room at Evolve Clothing in the Letterkenny Retail Park has the best value and selection in suiting for your wedding day.
Live music and entertainment is back at the Alley Theatre Strabane with the Dubliners Show, Conall Gallen, Sorry for Your Loss, Cash Returns, The Johnny and June Story, The Christmas Country with the Stars Show and Strabane Chamber Choir. For more information and tickets, alley-theatre.com or follow our socials.
At Letterkenny Shopping Centre, we're already dreaming about the festive season, so why not make a start? Park for free and enjoy your Christmas shopping this year. Letterkenny Shopping Centre, bringing you the time at...
The time is 9:17. Delighted to welcome on to the programme Tig Cadden. Thanks for joining us, Tig.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
I'm all right. Right now, you are studying at Letterkenny Institute of Technology. How's the course going for you so far, studying quantity surveying?
Yeah, it's going pretty well, thanks. I'm about, this is my week 6 or week 7, and I've another 6 odd weeks before the Christmas break, and it's going pretty well so far, thankfully.
Now, you will be glad for the Christmas break because you are clocking up the miles, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely looking forward to the Christmas break, just to get off the road a wee bit.
Because we've been talking before this academic year started about the difficulty in getting accommodation in Letterkenny. Hundreds of students have missed out. There's a few options if you do. There is the not go. There is the try and find a different course maybe that suits better, which is not ideal at all. And your option, which is commuting. Right, so can you describe your typical day for us, Tig? Like, what time does the alarm go off at, for example?
Typically, ideally, I'd get up at 5 o'clock. Get up, do my bits around the house, prep all my food for the day and get that packed away into the car, and make sure I have all my assignments and stuff for college in the car, because once or twice I've actually forgotten it, and it's not as if you can turn back halfway up the road and just kind of nip back and grab a book. But generally then leave the house at about 7 o'clock, and say these days now, this morning now left at 7, and thankfully it only took me an hour and a half to get up the road, but say then yesterday morning got up the same time, left the same time, and it took me about 2 hours and 15 minutes to get up. Left at 7 and arrived at 9:15.
And one element of this, which you're somewhat lucky in, although you're probably driving the living daylights out of your vehicle, is you have a car and are able to run it. I just wonder what would be the situation if you didn't have a vehicle. How would you get from Sligo to LYIT on a daily basis, I wonder?
I wouldn't be able to. There's just no way, really. People are mentioning like public transport to me and stuff, but like it's just too unreliable, and it'd be a lot slower as well. Like, but no, like you said, like thankfully I'm able to commute in the car, and I know there's other people in college that don't have that kind of luxury, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's a luxury, but it's a very expensive luxury, and I presume it's draining all of your resources.
It's pretty draining, alright, but like to be fair, like I actually feel kind of privileged just to be able to go to college. Like I know an awful lot of people aren't in that position, and so try and look at it that way. Like.
Yeah, fair play to you. Right, so you get to college then about 9 o'clock, go through the course of your day, and then head back up the road at what time?
Generally, like lectures will start in the mornings at 9:30, and I'd be on campus Monday to Thursday. And say then my last lectures do finish at 5:30 in the evening. So 5:30 I try and run out to the car park as quick as I can, because getting out of Letterkenny can be a bit of a struggle. Like just some days, even getting off campus, getting out onto the Port Road can be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, and then you're also sort of in your head figuring, well, what stage will you be hitting Ballybofey for an hour or two, which can take an awful long time to get through.
Ballybofey is an absolute nightmare for me in the evenings, and just that junction there before it.
Maclay's, yeah.
Yeah, you can turn left to Convoy or right to Ballybofey.
Oh, right, no, sorry, Kilross, yeah, you're going further back, yeah, that's right.
But like that, in the evenings there, like, especially now in the start, you can see the traffic, and it's literally a few miles long, the queue of traffic, and you're crawling in first gear for it could be 20 minutes, half an hour, like. And then you get into Ballybofey and it's just a bottleneck, and you're held up there for how long as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously, you know, I mean, you've got your work that you're doing on site, but I mean, you're talking maybe getting home 7:30, something like that, maybe 8 even, depending on what way the traffic is. What about studying then, and the stuff that you have to do sort of at home? Where do you fit the time in for that?
It does be pretty much last minute kind of for most things. Like say in the evenings, like I should ideally be doing coursework and college work basically, but like when I get home it could be anywhere between 7:30 to 8:30. Like I think 8:30 was the latest I've ever gotten back, and literally it's a case of getting in the door.
Coronation Street +1 and the book side.
I wish. But
I mean plus 1 hour, by the way. Now, so in terms of when you signed up for LYIT, is the problem a lack of accommodation, or is there accommodation but it's very expensive and you're balancing the books to see what the situation is? What has been your experience there, Tag?
I think like it's very difficult to put your finger on one thing. Like I think there's so many different variables that keep changing kind of constantly, either between supply, like from landlords or the college, and then demand from students. And then as well, like I think, like I don't know like any official numbers, but like I think just from what I've heard on campus that like last year, from obviously being in lockdown, like some students I think put off going to college because they weren't going to be on campus, which is understandable. Then they deferred for a year, and so this year there just seems to be really, really high demand, and the supply doesn't really match it.
Yeah.
And then of course, like you have the whole Micah situation up here as well, and like I said, like I don't know officially, but I've heard that like some families like had to move into some of the student accommodation as well. So obviously that eats away at some of the supply.
And were you able to do, like, was there anything available to you and you just thought, well, I mean, it would be cheaper for me to do the commute?
it is cheaper when you look at it, like, and as tough as it is, the whole driving, like, could be like 2 hours each way, like, it does work out that bit cheaper, like, and it's just tough then, like, say if you were to sign a lease then for accommodation, like, and then who knows, we could go back into lockdown and we could all be doing it online, like, and then you're stuck paying rent and you're not even there, like.
So there's that uncertainty there as well, and
like,
also
I'm not
to
blaming anyone for that either.
No, I get you. It's real life, and also, you know, I think a significant part of this story is that, especially for us in on the West Coast or in rural Ireland, is public transport is not an option, really. You know, it's not an option. So you're burning diesel or petrol up and down the road. Even if you said, you know what, I need to do my bit and hop on the public transport here. If the truth be told, there is not a consistent, reliable public transport service that would fit your needs.
No, definitely, I agree with you 100%. Like, and like that budget there a few weeks ago didn't do me any favours either. Like, and I completely get the whole need to decarbonise and use more public transport and stop burning fossil fuels, but in the west of Ireland, like you said, like, it's completely forgotten about, really. Like, it's not as if we're in a big city here and there is loads of public transport options. Like, it just doesn't exist.
What is the situation around Sligo IT? Is there similar problems in Sligo, or have they got more accommodation available? I wonder, just in case you're speaking to friends or your peer group.
I've heard that that they have fairly similar issues as well. Like, it's not just Donegal or Letterkenny. Like, it's I've heard I don't know any official numbers, but that that they're facing fairly similar issues with their students and accommodation as well.
Yep. So every time maybe the car tax goes up or the price of petrol or diesel goes up, it becomes more expensive for you to go to college. I mean, is there a tipping point? Is there a breaking point for you, or do you think you'll be able to cope?
I'm trying not to think about that too much, to be honest with you. Just keep going, like, just keep doing it. Like, it's not forever, like, so just keep getting through it and just keep slugging away at it. Like, just stay at a time. That's kind of the way I take it. Like, you can't be thinking too far ahead into the future because it just stresses you out.
No, not in this world anyway. All right, listen, I know you've got lectures at 9:30. Thanks for your insight into it, your input into it. You're only just one person. I don't think you've got the longest commute by any stretch, but it's an awful burden on you in the pocket, and also, you know, the amount of time you can dedicate to the important work of study. But thank you for your insight today.
No, thanks a million, Greg, and I appreciate you highlighting the issue as well.
No problem. Okay, what do you think about that? A 270-kilometre daily trip to college. That is not untypical, is that a word? Or it's not atypical? It's not unique. Anyone doing longer, that's a 270-kilometre round trip, 4 days a week, because there's simply not affordable accommodation available in Letterkenny. Get involved in that chat, 086 60 25,000, 086 60 25,000, or call 07491 25,000. This texter says, maybe this topic's been discussed before. My wife and daughter tested positive for COVID-19 on Saturday. They have to isolate and take all necessary precautions, which they are doing. They have also been told that if they get tested again within 12 months, that it will show positive. How can Eamon Ryan be positive one day, negative the next? How can we as a people be so blind and stupid to keep these people running our country? Well, I'm not disputing what's in your text. I'm just putting out what we're being told and off the back of previous interviews. In terms of the testing, I've been told that the testing can actually tell the difference between old cases and new cases. That's you know, that when the swab data and then they validate the tests, that they can differentiate between the two. Secondly, Eamon Ryan, the story there is that his first test had problems. They were concerned that it just wasn't quite as positive as a positive test should be, and it were they, not he. This is what they're saying to us. It was they that said we better go at this again. Now, I'm not sure if that's because he's a minister. I suspect it might be, but that's what they're saying. So it was inconclusive, or there were red flags to suggest it might not be positive. But it's still, like, as I said yesterday on social media, I just cannot believe that no one in government, and they've got an awful lot of politicians generally, but also people that are paid to advise them. I can't understand how they didn't know or did not figure out that he should have just taken the positive and missed COP26, because that story has done more to damage faith in the testing system, I think, than anything that went before it. And I think anyone now, lots of people now would be going, well, why should I get a positive test? It could be a false negative and then my life is over for 7 days. You know what I mean? That's a very extreme example, but I think he should have just taken the positive and missed that because I think that's done more, as I say, to undermine that whole system than pretty much anything that went before it. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. What do you think? 086 60 25,000 WhatsApps and texts.
Winter is coming. Get your tyres winter ready. Call into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Better value lives at Dunnes Stores with everything for your meals of the week like curries, tray bakes and stir fries. We've got Board Bia quality assured meats, including 302 gram fresh Irish chicken fillets and 215 gram fresh Irish sirloin steak, just €3 each. And to make it more nutritious and delicious, there's over 20 varieties of 49-cent fruit and veg. Plus, with our 10 off 50 grocery voucher, you save even more, which means every trip to Dunnes Stores means better value. Dunnes Stores, always better value. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher can be used on next grocery shop of €50 or more.
Looking to upgrade your business with a new van but not looking to compromise? Then look no further than the Ford Transit range. From the award-winning custom plug-in hybrid to the new active Trail and Transit 5-ton. Need a new pickup? Then check out the multi-awarded Ford Ranger. And with the 2-to-1 upgrade offer, save up to €6,500 and get a low-rate APR on selected models. Ford Commercial Vehicles. Search Ford.ie. Lending criteria conditions apply. Participating dealers for selected models ordered by the 31st of December and registered by the 31st of March. Business hire purchased by Bank of Ireland Leasing Limited. Trading as Ford Credit. Dealer charges may apply. Ownership remains with Ford Credit until the final payment is made. Warning, you may have to pay charges if you repay early, in full or in part, a fixed rate credit facility.
Don't sleep in and miss the very latest beds and mattress offers from dfibeds.ie, Ireland's leading online bed and mattress retailer. You'll get a comfy Irish-made mattress, upholstered base and headboard from an amazing €229. Check out the full range at dfibeds.ie. Delivery free and guaranteed to you within 7 working days. DFI Beds. Sleep well, live well.
Everyone tells us how important it is to shop around for motor insurance. It's the same when it comes to home insurance. You can save a lot of money by calling O'Malley Scanlon Insurance in Ballybuffet and Dunlow. O'Malley Scanlon Insurance really do look after your best interests by getting you the best policy to suit your needs. They've already saved me money on my motor insurance, and now they've saved me money on my home insurance.
When your motor or home insurance comes up for renewal, contact O'Malley Scanlon at their Ballybuffet office on 9131020 or their Dunlow office on 952206. O'Malley Scanlon Insurance is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Do you currently have vacancies that need urgently filled? Do you require temporary staff for the Christmas period? Have you tried various ways to find new staff but didn't succeed? Let Highland Radio help you source and fill your current vacancies in the most cost-effective way. Simply sign up to our new job spot and we will tell our 70,000 daily listeners about your vacancies. Every Monday, Wednesday and Friday during our primetime shows, we will broadcast the latest job opportunities across the Northwest and into counties Derry and Tyrone. For more information, contact the advertising team on 07491 25322 or email advertising@highlandradio.com. Highland Radio, we're here for you.
And you're welcome back to the programme. Now, a decision to mothball or shelve plans for a promenade in Downings has been described as disgusting by Councillor John O'Donnell, who joins us now on the programme. I think the last time we talked about this, John, you were kind of optimistic of it, disappointed that it was being stalled, but optimistic for future plans.
Yeah, that's right, Greg. Good morning to yourself and your listeners. It's something, I suppose, that we had a discussion at the budget workshop a number of weeks ago, and I'm very, very disappointed to the fact that there's been nothing included for the funding of providing an application for a foreshore licence for this project this year.
And that's an important element of this, isn't it? Because we're not looking at funding for the entire project. This is some funding to keep the project active, to keep it moving forward.
Yeah, that's correct. I suppose, like I would have said in your show before, There was fundraising and an allocation from Uterus Nagilta in the past that was able to make an application. The council led that application and it failed due to the lack of correspondence to the department from the council. So just, I suppose, it was very disappointing to the committee when that happened. I was optimistic that the council would step up to the mark and come up with the funding to be able to carry out a new application, because of the fact that there was no fault to the committee that the other one had fallen between two stools. So again, as I said, there's nothing in the budget, there's nothing set aside for the type of these projects that needs a small bit of funding to be able to sit and shovel ready for to be able to draw down the big fund to carry out the works.
Well, these are the type of the projects, are they not, that were being sold LPT on, isn't it? That, you know, that these, no one's ever said this would specifically benefit from the local property tax, but this is the notion that, you know, this is that money is used to keep these type of projects moving forward, because it's not just for the people of Downings. Of course, this would be presumably seen as a major, tourism attraction.
Yeah, it'll be a massive tourist attraction, and as well as that, I suppose, for people, disabled bodies as well, people that are going down to the beach and stuff like that, it's very difficult for them. I know we have a beach wheelchair and stuff like that, but I think a promenade would be a great thing, linking the pier up to the entrance of the beach. And then also you could continue that right around then, so you could all the way around. You could link the two beaches over to Tramore as well, onto the Tran above as well. And, you know, it'd be a big boost for tourism. It'd be a big boost for the people of Downings, and as well as that for the people that come from Northern Ireland and further afield to their holiday homes and their caravans and stuff there in the summer, you know. So it's disappointing to think that the council's not listening to the calls, that they're not acting on the good hard work that was made by the committee and the hard efforts, you know, to come in and now try and finish the job off and make good what was done wrong in relation to the last application. So
what kind of money would be required in 2021 to progress this?
Well, today, 2021-2022 budget, you'd be chatting 2020. You'd be chatting somewhere in the region of about 20 to 25,000. That's what the last estimated cost was. So it's a very small chunk of change in the grand scheme of things. And I suppose what I would say to you and to the people of Downings and to the whole Roscoe Peninsula, that I certainly won't be sitting back on it, and I'm not going to be taking no for an answer. And I'll be going today to the council meeting again today to make further calls that the council needs to resurrect these funds from somewhere, because it's not fair on the hard work and efforts of the committee and the people of Downings that they've put in trying to get this project moving forward. And as well, just Greg, you know, like the long and short of it is here, there's massive amounts of money has been spent on consultants, and there's been designs and costings done way back prior to my time going into council. And I always said that when I was being asked about this, there was other elected members that worked on this in the past, you know, and with the recession coming on, then it got shelved. And I think now that, you know, it's a good time. There seems to be money coming now that never was available before for these tourism initiatives and projects like this. And I think that, you know, we would be really, really, really sleeping at the wheel if we missed this opportunity. And I certainly won't be letting it go. It's disappointing to think that it's not included in the budget. But again, as I said, I'll be looking for it to be included, or some funds committed today at the council meeting.
But if you were told, look, we can't do it this year, but we'll certainly give it a very good hearing next year, would that satisfy you?
No, it wouldn't, Greg. The reason it wouldn't is for the simple reason is, the reason I was optimistic the last time was because we were put, everything's put in the long finger. And no, I don't believe that it would be addressed next year. I think that we need to get the foreshore licence applied for, because this is something that doesn't happen overnight. These foreshore licences take time. There's a lot of work to be put into them. And I know that the council the last time said as well that they had a X amount of resources and they were all constant in other projects. But you know, they shouldn't have took on the job of applying for the foreshore licence and availing of the funding if they didn't think they could deliver on it, you know.
Will you support this budget if money for Downings, this Downings project is not in it?
No, to be honest with you, Greg, that's I suppose what I'll be doing today is I'll be speaking to the Director of Services, and because I'm being put under serious pressure as well by my constituents, and I can't blame them. Like they're completely disgusted to the fact that this is not going ahead for a foreshore licence application. So if it's a case that there's no commitment for the foreshore licence application, I would find it impossible to support the budget.
So would you abstain or vote against it?
No, I would vote against it. I don't believe in abstaining anything, Greg. You know me, I'm either with something or against something. I don't abstain. I would rather make my feelings be known. I don't think abstaining anything's really serves much purpose. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I think you're either in or out.
Yeah, get off the fence. All right, listen, thanks for that. We'll chase it up, see if anything further comes from it today. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, take care. Councillor John O'Donnell there. A texter said, when games become threatening, then it's no longer a game. This is on the conversation as it relates to the abuse referees get at some underage amateur sporting events down in Dublin. A couple of leagues are not going to go ahead this weekend because of strikes. I believe it's Dublin only. But this caller says, when games become threatening, then it's no longer a game. There should be a private committee board that investigates referees' decisions. If there is a complaint, this will help sort out trouble peacefully. Yeah, it goes on all the time, doesn't it? I mean, I think we've all seen coaches, mums or dads or managers get on the pitch, haven't we? And often a referee certainly doesn't have VAR, but doesn't necessarily have all the professional eyes on lines and to be up close to the action necessarily to see if a call is 100% right. A caller says, hello, I witnessed at my son's under-16s match coaches from a team giving a referee abuse about how long a match is and in front of players and adults. The players on the pitch telling the coaches to be quiet to get the game going again. The coaches should know better. Would you please give Christmas Toy Appeal a mention on your show? It's for disadvantaged children here in Donegal. It's a very good cause and a great opportunity for people to give new toys only. Contact Ewan Devaney, Ballybofey. I have his number here, 087 768 4073. If you need that, get in contact with us. But back to the voluntary referees issue. They are not voluntary. They are paid. To the best of my knowledge, it's €50 a game, and sure, they could do 5 to 10 games a week. So apparently, amateur referees are pulling in £500 a week. I don't know. Did anyone watch Keelan Shanley, Far Away, Still Close last night on RTE? What a heartbreaking and heartwarming story. No, I didn't see that, unfortunately. It sounds good. Hi, Greg. Did I hear right? Eamon Ryan in Glasgow flashing the cash. He's given €10 million to countries suffering from climate change. There are families in Donegal fearing the weather change in their Mica homes. €10 million would go a long way to alleviate their pain and suffering. When is this madness going to end? Last one before a break here. A taxi picked up a student outside Mr. Chippy yesterday afternoon around 3 p.m. He was in club gear and carrying a club bag and was dropped to the mountain top. The passenger handed the driver €50 and was handed back 2 fivers as change, which he didn't realise until he got back inside. He probably thought they were 220s, did he? It can only be assumed that the driver did this in error. If the driver is listening, can he please drop the remaining change back to the house where when he gets a chance to do so? And last one for now, sheep on the slab road in Burnfoot. It's quite dangerous if drivers could be aware, says one of your fellow motorists.
Get your tyres winter ready. Drop into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybofey today.
It's November Madness at Crawford Tiles and More Castlefin for 1 week only. There's 20% off all tiles in stock, 10% off all bathware, and 5% off carpet and vinyls. Fitters and delivery service available. That's Crawford's Mad Giveaway Sale for 1 week only. Ends Wednesday the 10th of November. Call 9143942.
Whenever I'm looking for a special gift, I go straight to giftedfromireland.com. It's amazing. Birthdays, weddings, anniversaries. You'll always find something. And for Christmas gifts, it's perfect. Tweeds from Donegal, glass from Waterford, ceramics from Kilkenny, art from Achill. Send your loved ones something really special with giftedfromireland.com.
Auctioneers, estate agents, letting agents and property management agents operating in the Republic of Ireland must hold a Property Services Regulatory Authority PSRA licence. An auctioneer may auction land, fine arts, antiques or animals at a mart. When engaging an agent, don't assume your agent is licensed. Check the PSRA Register of Licensed Agents at psr.ie. Unlicensed agents are breaking the law. Report unlicensed operators to info@psr.ie. Remember, no PSRA licence, no PSRA consumer protection.
Buy a ticket. Buy a ticket in Highland Radio's mega draw to win a car. Get your ticket by November 30th and automatically enter an extra draw before the big draw. Big draw. One lucky winner will walk away with €2,000. Imagine, that's Christmas all wrapped up. Christmas sorted. The draw will take place on Wednesday, December 1st on the 9 till noon show. 9 till noon. And you're still in with a chance to win the Kia X-Ceed worth over €28,000. 28 grand.
It's that simple to win that car.
To get your ticket, log on to highlandradio.com.
Highland Radio, exceeding your expectations.
Ooh.
When it comes to searching for a holiday, Atlantic Travel and Letterkenny deal with all the major tour operators from Dublin and Belfast to find you the best deals available. A week in the sun, a cruise, or maybe a short break. Whatever suits, you can book in confidence with Atlantic, knowing your holiday is protected should something go wrong. Take the hassle and worry out of your holiday booking with the award-winning Atlantic Travel, St Oliver Plunkett Road, Letterkenny. For a quote today, see Facebook, visit atlantictravel.ie or call 9126193.
Highland Radio weather updates with National Fuels, delivering home heating oil to Letterkenny and the surrounding areas at competitive prices. National Fuels, 9137 400.
All right, patchy rain or drizzle will clear eastwards quickly this morning to leave a day of sunny spells and passing showers. These mainly in Atlantic coastal areas. Highest temperatures of 11 to 13 degrees in mostly moderate southwest breezes. Now we've had quite a bit of contact as it relates to booster vaccinations. So to get more information on this and to give those people interested that information, we're joined on the programme now by Dr. Anthony Breslin, Director of Public Health with HSE West. Good morning to you. Anthony, thanks very much for taking the call today.
Not at all.
Right, so where are we at? I suppose the question is who will be getting this third or second, I suppose, we'll just call it the booster. Who will be getting this booster vaccine now?
Well, obviously, started with the people over 80, then people with underlying health conditions, and then the over 60s. So, and then it's obviously from last week as well, frontline healthcare staff. So that's who's being offered the booster. Some already have it. Some are getting it with the flu vaccine if they're entitled to that. Some got the flu vaccine first and the booster next, and vice versa. But there's no problem getting the two vaccines together. And even if you got a different vaccine the first time, you can still. There's no problem getting the Pfizer vaccine this time.
Will anyone be turning up seeking it, or is this by appointment only, or will they be contacted, or if they're in a certain age demographic when they're in getting their flu vaccine, how will that work?
If they're due to get their vaccine from the GP, they arrange that with the GP, and the GPs that mostly are contacting people to arrange that, and obviously sorting out what suits. If it's otherwise outside the GP, it's by appointment. So they'd be contacted to say a text or whatever, or phone call, whatever they got us to say you're due your booster vaccine.
Right, so this is to do with the database then. Whenever they got the second text saying you do your second vaccine or your appointment's ready for your first, it's going to be in the same thread saying your third one is due now.
They have to leave 6 months after the first one.
Right, okay. In terms of, it might not suit people at any particular time, maybe they're away. What is the procedure for sort of saying, look,
couldn't tell you the exact details.
Well, I have it here. I actually have it here. I'll read it out if that's okay. Sorry.
That's fire ahead. No, not at all.
Okay, if you cannot attend your appointment and you need to reschedule it, you can reply to the text message with the word new, and then the HSE will issue with another appointment, or you can contact HSE live on 1-800 700 700. That's to anyone who got called for the booster vaccine, but the appointment time doesn't suit them. 1-800 700 700, or reply the word with the word new. Now, what vaccine will people be getting?
Mostly the Pfizer, some the Moderna, which is the one-dose vaccine, sort of half a dose of that, because that was a one-dose vaccine. But it's shown that the mRNA vaccine, the Moderna and the Pfizer, provides better immunity and long-term immunity, so that's why it's been given.
When we talk about immunity, what is the vaccine protecting us with or from now? Because generally, I think it's broadly accepted, particularly with the Delta variant, that fully vaccinated can catch COVID and they can pass it on. So when...
The point there. Okay. What the vaccine does is it stops you getting very ill. It may allow you to get infected and a mild infection, but it does stop you getting very, very ill. And even if you are vaccinated and do get a mild infection, you have the active infection for a much shorter period of time. Therefore, you spread less of the virus to other people. So if you have John Smith and John Jones is vaccinated and John Smith isn't, they both get sick on the same day. John Smith, who's vaccinated, will have a shorter course of illness, will spread less of the virus. John Jones, who isn't vaccinated, will be ill for longer and will spread more of the virus. So that's the reason the booster has been given, for two reasons: to make sure you don't get ill, to make sure if you do get ill, you're ill for a shorter period, and that thirdly, for the rest of the public, that you don't spread as much of the virus around.
Now, obviously, I presume you, like the rest of us, are only reading some reports because maybe there isn't much information out there, or maybe I'm wrong. How encouraged were you by the announcement of this pill that seems to be very effective at reducing hospitalisation and death?
Very late. I mean, that's too late. I'd rather you don't get sick to go get the virus in the first place. It's like having a great operation to fix your broken leg. I don't want you to break your leg in the first place. And it's good that people who do get very sick end up in the hospital, there might be treatment there, lovely, but I'd rather you didn't get sick in the first place.
Prevention better than cure is what you're saying.
Very much so, very much so.
A lot of conversation, and much of it anecdotal, as it relates to injury or reaction to vaccines. We're well through the vaccination programme now. You're the Director of Public Health with HSE West. Are you hearing of many serious reactions to vaccines?
No, not at all. I mean, people do get minor reactions, sort of getting red arms. Some people may be fatigued afterwards. That's fairly common, but that can be common after lots of vaccines, but nothing substantial.
Okay, why are we favouring now the mRNA vaccine, say, for instance, over the likes of AstraZeneca, which many people... They give a better immune response for some reason. I don't know the full technical details, but whatever the way the makeup of the vaccine, it gives a much better response, better immunity, and longer-lasting immunity than the other vaccines. We talked about there are some studies which suggests mixing the vaccine can offer better immunity. Should anyone who's had Pfizer 1 and 2 and are offered Pfizer 3, should they in any way feel that they're not getting the same protection as...
No. The Pfizer, if they've had the Pfizer before, you can get the Pfizer if you're offered it. They won't be offered the other vaccines in the booster anyhow.
Right, let's talk about the epidemiological situation. I mean, we aren't top of the table like we were for some time ago, but we're still, on in the top half of the table. It seems the last week or so we are seeing cases climb again in Donegal. What is the situation? Where are these cases coming from? Are they in schools? Are they coming from socialising? What do we know?
Okay, we're not seeing much in schools, thankfully. We're seeing cases, but we're not seeing any big problems. We're seeing cases in nursing homes and residential facilities, community hospitals, but nothing we're worried about.
And can I ask just about that one, if that's all right, Doctor? Are people staying in or living in nursing homes, are they getting good protection from the vaccine? Like when we talk...
They are, because we're not seeing as many cases as last year. And obviously that is down to the vaccine, but also good infection control. But where we do see cases, they're not spreading. And when we do see cases, thankfully, the vast majority of people are not getting as ill as they did last year.
And as it relates to hospitals,
I was going to say that much lower than last year.
And do we have an idea of the vaccination status? I mean, obviously we can't compromise anyone's private medical situation, but between the two hospitals, Sligo and Letterkenny, you're probably looking about 28 infectious cases, about 3 in ICU. Are we seeing any trends as it relates to the level of vaccination in that cohort?
All I'll say is that we're seeing what's mirroring the national picture is that unfortunately, the majority of people in hospital are unvaccinated, as are the majority of people in ICU. We are seeing a couple of people in ICU and hospital who are vaccinated, but it's much smaller compared to the people who are not vaccinated. And
the unvaccinated group is 8% of the adult population, and the vaccinated is 92%, so it's 50-50. The 8% is providing a disproportionate amount of hospitalisations. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it is.
So where are cases spreading? And is it really about where they're spreading, or is it more a case that we are a bit more lackadaisy in that we're triaging ourselves, saying it's just the sniffles, it's something else? Is that the biggest problem rather than places actually being open?
We're seeing lots of cases, sporadic cases in the community, household cases in the work and things like that. We're also seeing lots of cases associated with social events, weddings, football matches, hen parties, birthday parties, stag do's, etc. And it would appear that people are going to these events when they have symptoms, and then spreading it around. So that's why you're hearing the adverts from, is it Auntie May, to say thank you for not turning up to my party.
Yeah, I'm a bit indifferent on those, but I understand the message. I understand the message they're trying to relate, but I see what you're saying. A caller has a kidney infection. Is it safe to get the vaccine with this being the case?
It depends how severe that is. So you have to talk to your GP. Is it mild? Is it severe? But talk to the GP first and see what the GP says.
Another caller believes there's lots of people with joint pain after getting the vaccine and still suffering 6 months later.
Haven't heard that.
Okay. What about people who had the vaccine, got the 2 vaccines and was okay, spent 2 weeks in hospital after getting the 3rd, fighting an infection in her organs? What's your opinion on that?
I couldn't say about that because I need to know the details of what the story is about.
Okay. Right. All right. Thanks for the update. I appreciate it. Sorry, 1 second. My wife is positive for COVID. I'm vaccinated and have no symptoms. I've been told to continue to work. I know there are people in my place of work not vaccinated. What do I do?
Say that again. My
wife is positive for COVID. I'm vaccinated and have no symptoms.
So the person is vaccinated and
has no symptoms.
Okay. They can continue to work as long as they obviously practice the distancing and face covering. Because even if, God forbid, they are sort of incubating it, they won't be spreading a lot of virus. So the basics, that's what I always said, the basics of the distances and the face covering stop the spread of the virus, and that's what we've seen all the time.
Okay.
So that will protect others anyhow.
Dr. Anthony Breslin, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Back after the news at 10.
Winter is coming. Get your tyres winter ready. Call into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Beat the cost of Brexit and no customs charges. Do you need a UK address? For your limited company or personal use, Space Hub in Derry can provide you with your own virtual office or mailbox. Have your post and parcels delivered to Space Hub and collect at your convenience. Also brand new 20-foot shipping containers now in stock. Ideal for all your storage needs at our Springtown and Coolmore depots. Find us on Facebook or spacehubderry.com or call 04871 878077 for details.
Show your appreciation for Donegal business this Christmas with Buy Donegal. Visit buydonegal.com to see a host of participating businesses and special offers to start your shopping list. To get involved, buy a product or service from a Donegal business and share on social media. Buy Donegal takes place from the 5th of November to the 31st of December. For more, visit buydonegal.com.
Are you worried about trees on your property? Northwest Forestry Services Ballybuffet are fully insured and have over 40 years experience in dangerous tree removal, tree felling, surgery and stump grinding. For peace of mind, call Northwest Forest Services Ballybuffet for a no obligation quotation on 9132033.
The Citroen Open Week is now on at Highland Motors in Letterkenny. Call in and see the full range, including the C3 Super Mini, the C3 Aircross SUV, and the all-new C4 Crossover, which is available in petrol, diesel, and 100% electric with a range of 350 kilometres. There's probably the most comfortable SUV on the market, the C5 Aircross, which is still available to order in diesel, and not forgetting the award-winning Grand Space Tourer 7-seater with great offers available on all models. Order during Open Week and you'll get 3 years free servicing. Terms and conditions apply. Call into the Citroen Open Week this week at Highland Motors, Mountain Top, Letterkenny.
Come on down to McDade's Bathroom Plumbing Tiles and visit their designer showroom. They have over 40 bathroom settings on display to help you choose your dream bathroom. So please call or email their staff anytime. McDade's are open Monday to Friday 8:30 till 5:30 and Saturday 9:30 till 3. And can be contacted by phone on 074 9363050 or email sales@pjmcdade.com. Thank you for your continued support from all the team at McDade's Bathroom Plumbing Tiles, Bunkrana.
If you are aged 70 or over, you will soon be offered a COVID-19 vaccine booster dose. This is because cases are starting to increase in this age group. Your booster dose will give you the best possible protection against serious illness from COVID-19. You should get it around 6 months after your last COVID-19 vaccine. Your GP will contact you when it's time for your vaccine. For more information, visit hse.ie or call HSE Live on 1800 700 700. From the HSE.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning. It's just gone 10 o'clock. Donald Kavanagh at the Highland Radio News Desk. The Public Expenditure Minister says any premises which isn't complying with COVID-19 rules does not deserve to stay open. Research by the ESRI shows a third of customers in restaurants and pubs aren't having their COVID certs checked. Government officials will meet with hospitality sector representatives this afternoon to reiterate that the rules must be complied with. Minister Michael McGrath says the government will take action if things don't improve.
We do expect the minority of operators that aren't complying to fully comply with the rules. It's in all of our interest that they do, and if they don't, then there are penalties. The government will act and the authorities will act, and certainly any premises that is not complying with the rules does not deserve to remain open.
The government is being urged to stop leaking trial balloons in connection with the micro-redress scheme. Details of a so-called enhanced scheme were to have been published today, but it's now been delayed as further adjustments are carried out. It's after speculation that a cap of €350,000 would be included in the scheme, which in turn would have excluded around 40% of mica-affected householders, according to the Mica Action Group. Donegal Deputy Thomas Pringle says those affected have waited long enough and the government should stop leaking and sort the situation out for once and for all.
And that's just not good enough, and it's not on for the mica families, because this is a very serious issue and the government needs to treat it as such and needs to stop this ongoing delay and actually come out and put once and for all a scheme in place that deals with 100% redress, and the families can actually know what's ahead of them in the years to come.
A man remains in Garda custody this morning after being arrested following an incident at a domestic dwelling near Ballybuffet. Gardaí were called to the residence yesterday afternoon. The man was arrested on suspicion of firearms offences. He's currently being detained at Letterkenny Garda Station. A student attending Letterkenny Institute of Technology is being forced to undertake a 270-kilometre round trip 4 days a week because of a lack of student accommodation in Letterkenny. Ty Cudden, a quantity surveying student, leaves his home in Sligo each morning at 7 and some evenings doesn't return until 8:30. He says availing of public transport is not an option as it's too unreliable. On today's 9 till noon show, Ty said demand is outweighing accommodation supply in Letterkenny.
It's very difficult to put your finger on one thing. I think there's so many different variables that keep changing between supply from landlords or the college and then demand from students. Then as well, I think, I don't know any official numbers, but just from what I've heard on campus, that last year, from obviously being in lockdown, some students put off going to college because they weren't going to be on campus, and so this year there just seems to be really, really high demand.
Donegal County Council is being urged to include a sum of money in next year's budget to progress plans for a promenade in Downings. The issue is to be raised at a Letterkenny Milford Municipal District meeting this afternoon by Councillor John O'Donnell, who says between 20 and 25,000 euro is needed to progress a foreshore licence application in the next 12 months. He says a local committee made a previous funding application, but it failed, partly because there wasn't sufficient input from council. Councillor O'Donnell says a prom would serve the tourism sector, but also help people with disabilities.
The massive tourist attraction, and as well as that, for people disabled and down to the beach and stuff like that, it's very difficult for them. I know we have a beach wheelchair, but I think a promenade would be a great thing, linking the pier up to the entrance of the beach. And then also you could continue that right around then, so you could all the way around. You could link the two beaches over to Tramore as well, onto the Tran above. It's disappointing to think that the council's not listening to the calls, and I'll be going today to the council meeting to make further calls that the council needs to resurrect these funds from somewhere.
And Donegal company Nomadic Dairy has been sold in a €29 million deal. Specialist food investment group BFest has partnered with Development Capital to acquire the company from the Donegal Investment Group. With more, here's Michaela Clark.
Nomadic Dairy currently employs 80 people in Killygordon, supplying multiple products across the UK and Ireland. BioVest will hold a 54% stake and Development Capital a 46% share in the company. Established in 1998, Nomadic Dairy has grown its revenue by over 50% in the past 4 years, adding to its product range and expanding across the grocery, convenience and food service distribution channels. The company has become the #1 yoghurt brand in Great Britain and Northern Ireland. The partnership between BioVest and Development Capital includes funding from Bank of Ireland. The company's managing director, Alan Cunningham, and his team are set to remain with the business to work with the new owners. BioVest CEO Hilliard Lombard has confirmed that along with Development Capital, they will be investing in the company as well as working with the current team to drive the next stage of growth for the business.
Weather forecast: any lingering rain or drizzle will quickly clear, leaving a day of sunny spells and passing showers. Highest temperatures 11 to 13 degrees Celsius in mostly moderate southwest breezes. A few showers overnight, but becoming mostly dry with clear spells developing widely. Turning quite cold though, with minimum temperatures tonight 3 to 7 degrees Celsius in patches of mist and fog. Tomorrow, Wednesday, will be mostly dry with mist and fog slowing to clear from some areas. A mix of cloud and bright spells with generally light variable breezes. Maximum temperatures tomorrow 10 to 12. That's Island Radio News. We're back with news headlines again at 11 o'clock. Good morning.
The obituary notice is for this Tuesday morning, November the 9th. The death has taken place of Gemma Doherty, Isle of Doe, Clonmany and formerly of Woodside, Carndonagh. Funeral leaving the Eternal Light Chapel, Vress Mountaintop, Letterkenny, this morning at 11 o'clock, going to her late residence in the Isle of Doe via Carndonagh. Cremation will take place on Thursday afternoon in Lakelands at Crematorium Cavan at 3 o'clock. The death has taken place of David Farrand, Greenbank, Quigley's Point. His remains will be reposing at his home from 4 o'clock this afternoon. Funeral on Wednesday in St Patrick's Church, Ishkaheen at 12 noon, followed by burial in the adjoining graveyard. The death has occurred of Martin Griffin, 9 Silverwood, Donegal Road, Stranorlar. Martin's remains are reposing at his daughter Donna's home, 36 Glebe Hollow, Stranorlar. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 10:30 for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock in the Church of Mary Immaculate, Stranorlar, followed by interment in Drumbo Cemetery. The Mass can be viewed via the parish webcam on churchservices.tv. The death has taken place in Chicago of Anthony McLaughlin, Hamish, formerly of Drumnaskey, Mallinhead. Funeral will take place tomorrow in Chicago. The death has taken place of Betty Graham, Devlin Moore, Carrigard. Her remains are reposing at her late residence. Funeral from there this afternoon after a private family service in her home at 12:15, going to Carrigard Presbyterian Church for burial service at 1 o'clock, with interment immediately afterwards in the family burial ground. The service will be broadcast live on the Carrigard Presbyterian Church Facebook page at 1 o'clock. Wake and funeral are private to family and friends only, please. The death has occurred of Margaret Barr, 540 Grove Cottages, Muff. Removal this afternoon at 1 o'clock to the Sacred Heart Church Muff for Requiem Mass at 1:30, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Margaret's Requiem Mass can be viewed on MCN Media Muff. Wake is strictly private to family and friends only. Family flowers only. Donations in lieu of desire to Buncrana Community Hospital Patients Comfort Fund, care of any family member or Murphy Funeral Directors. The death has occurred of Rosella Rosie Sheeran, née McLaughlin, 8 Coal Hill Park, Newton Cunningham, and formerly Glengad Malin. Her remains are reposing at her home. Requiem Mass tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock in All Saints Church, Newton Cunningham, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Requiem Mass can be viewed on churchservices.tv. Family time please from 11 p.m. until 12 noon. The death has occurred of Jackie Breslin, number 3, Glenview Ardra, and formerly of Stravalley. Funeral Mass today at 12 noon in the Church of the Holy Family Ardra, with burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. The death has taken place of Harry Leo Doherty Bridgend. His remains are reposing at his home. Requiem Mass this morning at 11 o'clock in Our Lady of Lourdes Church Inch, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. The death has taken place of Hugh McDevitt, 98 Ard McCool Stranorler, and formerly from Comrick Clohan. Hugh's remains are reposing at his home. Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock this morning in the Church of Mary Immaculate Stranorler, with interment afterwards in Drumbo Cemetery. Requiem Mass will be streamed live on churchservices.tv. The death has occurred of Noreen Begley, Moff, and formerly of Letchermack Ward. Her remains are reposing in her sister Kathleen West's house in Letchermack Ward. Funeral Mass today in St Bridget's Church, Letchermack Ward at 12 noon, with interment afterwards in the new cemetery. And the death has taken place of Joan McElcher, née Crawford, Ballylast, Lifford, and formerly of Grotto House at Port Hall. Fiona leaving her home this afternoon at 12:20 for Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church at Murlock, Lifford at 1 o'clock. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Donations in lieu of flowers please to ICU, Galway University Hospital, care of Quigley Funeral Directors. The Requiem Mass can be viewed on clonleeparish.com. For more details, including any family health guidelines for wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
If you are aged 70 or over, you will soon be offered a COVID-19 vaccine booster dose. This is because cases are starting to increase in this age group. Your booster dose will give you the best possible protection against serious illness from COVID-19. You should get it around 6 months after your last COVID-19 vaccine. Your GP will contact you when it's time for your vaccine. For more information, visit hse.ie or call HSE Live on 1800 700 700. From the HSE.
And you're very welcome back to the programme. On to some of your comments now. I'm sorry, Doctor, but my grandson has long COVID now, and a good few of his friends are off with COVID as well. They are secondary school, and my friends' young children has it too. They go to national school, so it is in the schools, says that listener. Hi, not seeing COVID cases in schools as they're not telling or testing students. My daughter is a close contact and wasn't contacted by the HSE or school, only for the child told her. It's a joke, no wonder cases are high and spreading. But that same child, if mum or dad or brother or sister in the house had COVID, they would be classed as a close contact. Will that case end up being counted as a household case as opposed to a school case? Those who got Johnson vaccine, can you ask the doctor what booster will they get, please? It's the Pfizer or Moderna. It's the same. It doesn't matter what you got. The COVID vaccine passport is not being enforced in restaurants or pubs or hotels, says the texter. Some of them, I suppose. More of your comments here. I had my booster on October 29th and flu vaccine the same day. Awful fever today. It's the first day I feel a bit better, still a bit wobbly. No bad effects from first 2 vaccines, 2 different nurses. That comes in from Mary, who's over 70. Another caller says, unvaccinated to blame again. Tell Greg to ask some of the nurses in ICU to see the proper of vaccinated in ICU. Oh, that's right. We aren't allowed to speak, but he can go to your radio station, say that what he likes and no questions. I don't know if this person is claiming to be an ICU nurse. There's 3 people in ICU at the moment, 4 in total across the northwest. Maybe if you're given the impression you are an ICU nurse, give us more details. Well, we can't really. I take your point, but listen, the statistics, what he was referring to is that 52% of people in ICU currently, as of last a couple of days ago, were not vaccinated. So 48% were vaccinated, fully vaccinated. And the argument they put across is that, you know, it's 8% of the population is providing for half of the occupancy of ICU, 92% of the population providing the other half, and that's the figures that they release. One law for the Irish government, not the same for me and you. I do know people that did say they did not believe in COVID-19 and will not get the jab. The owners of bars know this and are letting them in and tell the owner they got the jab without showing the COVID-19 jab. Greg, what is it with some people throughout the pandemic? I've noticed religious devotees tying used masks to branches of trees adjacent to holy wells. Another, I tested positive, done a test at home 23 days later and was negative. No symptoms at any time. Government tested almost 2 weeks from initial test and it was negative. All right, thank you for that. Hi, the government are having a meeting today with hospitality re-COVID certs. I'm curious to know what the guidelines are for nightclubs holding teenage discos. Anything I've read says the same rules apply. They must be vaccinated. However, I know of one nightclub is advertising as kids don't need vaccine. I'm not familiar with this. And I know my parents will say, sure, they're all together in school. The difference being they're wearing masks and distancing in schools, are they, routinely? The nightclub industry was in contact with government as it relates to underage discos or nightclubs. I don't know what the outcome of that was. Another caller says, Eamon Ryan is a great advocate for a vegetarian diet when he can recover from COVID in 1 day. You asked about Eamon Ryan's test. I think you are correct. This has done more damage to confidence in the testing procedures in Ireland. He should have missed COP. Again, it's one rule for the government, elite, and another for the ordinary people. A total disgrace again. He also did look clearly sick. It feels a little bit like, you know, a teenager that will do anything to get to some event or whatever, that they really, really want to go and they don't want to miss out. Would staying in Ballybofey or one of the outlying towns be an option if you have a car and you can drive? It would cut the commute time. Okay, I actually didn't even think of that, to put that question to Ty. It's an interesting proposition, all right. Right, okay. More of your comments to come. Just want to let you know that we have our mega car draw running at the moment. It's in association with our friends at iMotors. They're in Malin and Drumkeen, of course. And between us, we have put together a €28,000 plus white petrol Kia Exceed. You can win it for just a tenner. If you want to get involved with one ticket, you can buy 6 tickets for 50 or 10 for 80. And you could be the winner of that car. The draw will take place on December 23rd here on the programme. But between now and the end of November, you have a chance as well, if you enter the draw, to win €2,000 in cash. And that will be awarded at the start of December. So you can go on to our website right now, highlandradio.com. You'll see the logo, the link for the car draw there. Click on it. Buy your tickets, one for yourself, if that's all you want, or you can get 6 for €50 and gift them or keep them for yourself. 10 for €80, as I say, they could be great Christmas gifts, and you'll be in with a chance to win $2,000 at the start of December, and that car at the end of December, just before Christmas. So hop on to the website there for more information. Finally, just before we take a break for the bingo numbers, match fees for referees under 12s, under 14s, under 16s. It's €27 for under 14s, 29 for under 16s, €32 for seniors, 48 for refs to do one senior match a week. So for one person who said it was 500 a week, I'd love his number so I could get 50. I could get 500. They were saying that these refs might be doing 4 or 5 games. 10 games a week, wasn't it, at £50? And I think that's where the 500 came from. Listen, thanks for that information. All right, stay tuned. Lots to come on the programme. But first, it's time for bingo. Good luck if you are playing today.
It's time for NCBI Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Tuesday the 9th of November. You're playing on the brown sheet. The reference number is S2. It's game number 45. The numbers are 8, 23, 28, 74, 22, 83, 82, 40, 39, and finally 37. Phone your claim to 9104833 before 8 tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your NCBI bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Get your tyres winter ready. Drop into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Established 1955, modernised 1998, survived 2020, expanded 2021. Times change, but the best businesses never stop beginning. At Bank of Ireland, you can now apply for a business current account online, and our dedicated business teams make switching banking partner easy. Search Bank of Ireland Business. Begin. Bank of Ireland is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
In this week's RTE Guide, from stunning starters to new twists on old favourites, Catherine Fulvio, Clodagh McKenna, Dorina Allen and Donal Skehan have all you need in our free 24-page Christmas recipe collection. Plus Marty Morrissey on live and taking the Marty party on the road. Everything and more. RTE Guide on sale now.
Tune in this Thursday for all the latest farming news and views straight after the 5 p.m. news. Brought to you in association with Lifford Credit Union, who have recently launched Cultivate, an agricultural loan at only 6.55%, APR 6.75%. Call into any of their 3 offices for more information or to make an appointment. Lifford Credit Union, Rafo Newton Lifford, supporting local farmers.
It's time. Time to wander through a land of natural wonder where breathtaking views are all around. Time to fill those lungs with fresh air on an unforgettable cycle trail. Oh, that's gorgeous. Time to bag a bargain or 5 on an epic afternoon shopping spree. It's time to embrace a giant adventure in Visit Mourne this autumn. Start planning for your next giant adventure at visitmournemountains.co.uk. Travel advice and guidelines apply. Visit nidirect.gov.uk. Check ahead with providers.
Candles, lanterns, Christmas trees, decorations and all types of lights. Everything you need for Christmas. Experience the magic of Christmas at Cooney's. Our biggest and best Christmas shop has outstanding value on lights and trees. There really is something for everyone at Cooney's Letterkenny Retail Park.
Uncover the magic of Christmas in Derry and Strabane. Join us for some festive fun with the Christmas light switch-ons. Strabane, Saturday the 20th of November and Derry, Sunday the 21st of November. Find something special at the enchanting Walled City Market and join Santa and his helpers with the Mayor's Christmas fun activities in December. Visit derrystrabane.com/Christmas.
Christmas is well underway at Letterkenny Shopping Centre. Park for free and get everything you need. Thank you for shopping with us this Christmas. Letterkenny Shopping Centre, bringing you the time at...
The time is 21 minutes past 10. You're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show. Very shortly, we will be speaking to Garda Niall Maguire for the Community Garda information slot. Just a question for the medical officer. I've no issue with vaccine. I'm just wondering about the accuracy of his analogy that the vaccinated person is infected for shorter periods and spreads less than a unvaccinated person. How is that the case when vaccinated people are not tested when they have symptoms? So you might be leaning on a recent study published which shows that a vaccinated person that this is a peer-reviewed study. Don't come at me. I'm just relating it to you. It's on the. It's been widely reported on that someone who's vaccinated might end up with the same viral load, but they have it for less long. That's what they're saying. And in general society, they tend to pass it on less. That's what they're saying. But anyway, this caller says, how is that the case when vaccinated people are not tested, when they have symptoms and don't have to isolate, then when unvaccinated are tested and do have to isolate? Scientific data and vaccine manufacturers all state that vaccinated people carry the same initial virus load as unvaccinated and as are therefore just as likely to spread the virus. Now, the person who wrote that report actually stated that that's not the case. That was one person's interpretation of it that was widely spread, but they're saying that that is not the case. But then they go on to say that logic suggests that the vaccinated being allowed to roam free while infected pose more of a risk to the public than unvaccinated who have to isolate. Okay, right. 086 60 25,000, that's the text or WhatsApp line. 086 60 25,000 or call 07491 25,000. It is Tuesday, which means it's time for the Community Garda Slot, and we're joined in studio today by Garda Niall Maguire. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Greg.
Right, OK, let's start off with appeals for information and burglary at Ordinary Letterkenny.
Don't have much good news for you this week, Greg. We have quite a lot of burglaries in the Donegal division, unfortunately. So I just want to make a few appeals for information in relation to these, and hopefully some people might be able to give us a hand in solving these. So the first one we're looking at is locally here in Letterkenny. The Gardaí are investigating a burglary that occurred in Ardnaree Long Lane between Sunday the 7th of November at 11 p.m. and Monday morning the 8th. The rear door to a house was forced open and entry was gained. The house was gone through and ransacked. A number of items were taken, namely a Sony karaoke machine, a Michael Kors watch, assorted jewellery, a black and white Elise jacket, a light red raincoat, and a blue Puma backpack. So we are appealing to anybody who may have observed anything suspicious in that area in Ardnaree Long Lane on the 7th of November between 11 p.m. and the following morning, the 8th, Monday the 8th. Please contact the guards in Letterkenny on 074 9167 100, or indeed the Garda confidential line on 1800 666 111.
And Letterkenny Gardaí also investigating a burglary at Solomon's Manor.
Yeah, this one occurred the previous Tuesday, the 2nd of November at 11 a.m. between 11 a.m. and Wednesday, the 3rd of November at 11 a.m. in the area of Solomon's Manor, Letterkenny. A rear window to the property was forced open and entry was gained. The house had obviously been gone through and a large television was stolen from the property. It's believed that the exit from the property was via the front door, as it was then found unlocked. We are hoping that maybe other residents in the Solomon's Manor area may have observed something that can assist in our inquiries. Again, the guards in Letterkenny are looking after that. 9167 100.
And what we're seeing, I'm not saying it's new, but you know, in previous years, going for sort of cash, jewellery, bulky items being targeted here as well. Now, in these two instances, we're talking about. So more difficult to transport, I presume. More likely, one would hope that someone saw something. You know, if people are shifting a TV or some of the other gear that you're talking about, it should stand out more.
Yeah. I'm not sure why this is, but yes, you're right, Greg. Years ago, it was strange for sort of big items to be taken. It was very rare indeed, but now we've had several burglaries recently where televisions have been taken, so I'm not sure what's behind that.
All right. Our colleagues down in Ballyshannon too, they're appealing for information relating to burglaries.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Ballyshannon has been hit badly this last week. The first one is in St Joseph's Avenue, Donegal Town. A house was broken into on Saturday the 6th of November between 7 p.m. and 11:50 p.m. The back door of the property was forced open in order to gain entry, and a sum of cash and a small amount of jewellery and clothing was stolen from the property. And then on Thursday the 4th of November, a house was burgled between 3 p.m. and 9:45 p.m. at Ballier Lane, Ballyshannon. Again, unfortunately, a lot of these burglaries, Greg, there's forced entry. It's not just maybe an open window or door. A lot of them's been actually physically broken into. A window to the rear of this property was forced open, and a sum of cash and quantity of jewellery was stolen from the property. And again, I suppose the people are out, not just the stuff that's stolen, but they now have a broken window to fix as well. Third one, a burglary took place at Stracomerview, Bundoran, between the Sunday the 31st of October and Friday the 5th of November. The back window of the house was forced open and the house was rummaged through, but thank God nothing was found or taken that we know of. Then 3 houses were burgled in a cul-de-sac in the area of Glencoe, Mount Charles, on the evening of Saturday, November the 6th. We think between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Doors and windows on each of these houses were forced open in the properties to gain entry. Damage was caused to force entry, and cash was taken in one of these houses. So again, you know, there's a similar MO here, a similar pattern that a lot of these houses are being forced. You know, their windows and doors are being broken open. So, you know, this would obviously create a bit of noise. So hopefully somebody might have heard something or seen a card or something, or took a number or something. They can let us know.
Yeah, and it's very much in everyone's interest to keep an eye out here, because they're all over the place, particularly in the south of the county. As you say, similar MO. I'm not connecting them, but it's back to, and we'll probably talk about the advice, windows that are hard to tamper with, double doors, with the old style locks, and maybe people need to be thinking on, as well as keeping an eye out on each other, thinking on in terms of alarms that are monitoring doors and windows.
Exactly, Greg. Yeah, it's a serious thing. Your house been broken into, and it's like a lot of things we come across day to day in the guards. People we're meeting didn't think it was going to happen to them, but unfortunately it does. If I could just maybe mention another burglary that occurred at a house on Finner Avenue, Bundoran, on Thursday the 4th of November. Again, it's all this week, Greg, past between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. An attempt was made to force open the front door of the property, but it wasn't successful. Entry was then gained through an unsecured rear window. The property was entered, but nothing was stolen. So if anybody can help us in relation to anything suspicious, or any vehicles they may have seen in the area that were strange, or any maybe CCTV that may have been used to us, please contact the guards in Ballyshannon. The investigating team can be contacted on 071 985 8530, or indeed again the confidential line on 1800 666 111.
Now, of course, information is going to be posted just to remind people of home security advice on the Garda Síochána, the Donegal Facebook page later today. But some of the key advice that you might have for us.
Yeah, without sounding like a broken record, Greg, whether at home or going out, turn on some lights, lock all doors and windows, use lights around the exterior of your property. Record the details of valuables, photograph them and take note of any serial numbers, and definitely don't keep large amounts of cash at home. Just in relation to that, if we do tend to keep cash at home, like we think we're being clever and put it in a Weetabix box or something in a cupboard, as a random example. But these people are Christmas shopping themselves, and they're very experienced, and they know, because humans are, we're really, really quite similar by nature. They know what your average person thinks is a safe place to store expensive jewellery, and they go, well, how did they know it was going to be in that empty sugar jar or something? But they know that's where to look. They don't open the top drawer of your cupboard because the cash is sitting there. So, and as well too, what we've also found, Niall, in the past is it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks down the line when someone goes, "My, that watch is missing. I had left that watch and I went to look for it and it wasn't there." And that's as well why it's important to prepare for the worst case scenario and keep a list of the stuff that you own of value, particularly. Yeah, you're correct in all them points, Greg. Just because you have it high up in the back of a cupboard in a biscuit jar or something like that, that's it tends to be similar in a lot of houses. So just because you think it's secure, there's only so many hiding places you have. And also your insurance won't cover you for large amounts of cash. It's, if you look at your home insurance policy, it's quite a small amount of cash, if any. And same with valuable items, jewellery and stuff. You all have to itemise these things. We all go for maybe the cheaper insurance quote, but they tend to cover very, very little, Greg. Yeah, and a lot of people have not been able to leave their house for a long time. Maybe they're getting away on holiday and what have you, and obviously people want to share their wonderful experience with their friends on Facebook. But a tool of the criminal is to befriend people, lots of people perhaps in a certain area, and literally get minute by minute updates as to when they're in the house or not. These people, yes, I mean, obviously, they're nasty going into people's houses, but let's not presume that they aren't well organised and they aren't intelligent, and they will use social media at times to target people's property. That's correct, Greg. Yeah, I'm not saying that's the case in any of these. No, of course not. But it's part of general advice. Yeah. And also to find about house alarms, because often people are burglarised, then they get the house alarm, but there's no point having a house alarm if you're not setting it, because it's like having a seatbelt in your car and not putting it on. That would be an important piece of advice as well, I presume. Yeah, we would certainly recommend the monitored alarms as opposed to the sort of regular audible alarms. So the monitored alarms are monitored by a security company, and if the alarm's triggered and they don't get a response, they try and contact you on the phone, and if you're not contactable on the phone, well, then they're calling the guards, and the guards are dispatched immediately to your house. Yeah. And another thing too, which a lot of people may not avail of, if you are heading away, tell the local Gardaí. Yeah, we get that quite a bit, and we do action upon it, Greg. So people will come in to say, "Listen, I'm heading to my holidays for a week. Would you keep an eye on my house?" And we do. It's put on our duty detail, and we do have patrols specifically for people that are away from their homes for what it's worth. But it's definitely worth something, Greg.
And if they're not breaking into your homes, potentially they're trying to break into your phone, into your email account, into your life digitally. And, it is information we've given out before, but we have to keep at it because people are still being caught now.
Unfortunately, Greg, your regular listeners are going to be tearing their hair out me mentioning this again. They're fed up listening to us going on about these email scams and text message scams from the banks, but we have to keep mentioning it because people this week alone have been falling for this, particularly the text messages from the bank. So again, never ever give out any of your personal banking details, whether by phone call, email or text message. And unless you can see the whites of somebody's eyes, you shouldn't be giving out any of that information. People are falling victim to these bank text message scams and clicking on links and providing their details. Money's taken from their account. Then we're receiving these reports from people who receives a telephone call and for one reason or another they've agreed to transfer money to an unknown account. And this isn't happening. I'm not talking about national. This is happening in Donegal and Letterkenny and Buncrana and Ballyshannon. So if people are listening to this, and they're fed up hearing this advice, well then maybe spread the word to people that maybe that you consider vulnerable yourself.
Not getting to,
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So just to end on a bit of good news, Greg, I just want to wish the winners from the Donegal Garda Youth Awards this year the very best of luck as they will travel to Portlaoise this coming Saturday, the 13th, to present with their national awards. We've been very fortunate position in Donegal. The 4 national winners, 3 of them are from Donegal. So we've had 3 out of 4 from Donegal. We had the Community Safety Award winner, which was the transition year mini company class from Garmskull McDiarmid in Armore Island. The group award winner was the Young Social Innovators group from Ross's Community School in Dunloe, and the individual award winner was young Ben King from Creesla, who did a project in relation to road safety. So we're delighted to have 3 national winners from the Donegal division, and it was our intention to give a little bit more information on it this week, but we've been inundated with burglaries, Greg, and that took precedent this week. So I just want to wish them all the best on Saturday and extend our congratulations to their families and teachers and schools.
Yeah, and we'll return to it at some point, if not during this item.
I know Granya's putting stuff up on
exactly, it's well worth it,
Facebook page.
Brilliant stuff. Listen, thank you very much indeed for joining us. I appreciate it. Okay, that was the Garda Nall Maguire. That was the Community Garda Slot for this Tuesday, the 9th of November. That item returns to you between 10 and 11 next week. We'll be right back.
Winter is coming. Get your tyres winter ready. Call into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Bank of Ireland is looking out for your financial well-being. They want to help protect you from fraud. So whether it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or even just plain old Tuesday, be careful online. Don't assume that every text message or email you get claiming to be from a bank, a delivery service, or any company is legit. And remember, Bank of Ireland will never send you a text message or an email with a link asking for your full 365 PIN number or one-time passcodes, so don't give them out. Search Bank of Ireland Security, and together this Christmas we won't let the fraudsters win.
Begin. Bank of Ireland is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
If you've got great photos sitting on your phone or in the cloud, why not visit mcgee's.ie and see the range of creative options available. Get larger 7x5 prints for the same price as a standard 6x4s, with 100 prints for just €12. Or select from the great range of photo gifts like mouse and placemats, phone covers, jigsaws and clocks. Click and collect or have them delivered. See what you can do with your favourite photos online at mcgee's.ie.
Make your next menswear choice at Watson Menswear Letterkenny. From suits to casual wear, there's big names like Rimassumo, Superdry, Penguin and Tommy Bow. If you're getting married, call in for an appointment and get fitted in style. That's Watson Menswear, open 7 days a week on Main Street in Letterkenny, or online at watsonmenswear.com, or follow on social media for more details on offers and new arrivals. Christmas Club now open.
Homeland Fuel offers, keeping you warm for less. 40 kg premium doubles or easy flame coal, $16.99. Buy 10, get 1 free. 1 kg fire logs, 4 for €5. 12-pack wood briquettes, buy 2 for €10. Shop in store or online at homeland.ie.
Letterkenny Shopping Centre is where real Christmas begins. Get everything you need for the festive season with a wide range of gifts, food and services. Park for free, have a browse, grab a coffee and actually enjoy your Christmas shopping this year. Thank you for visiting Letterkenny Shopping Centre this Christmas.
Live music and entertainment is back at the Alley Theatre Strabane with the Dubliners Show, Conwell Gallen, Sorry for Your Loss, Cash Returns, The Johnny and June Story, The Christmas Country with the Stars Show, and Strabane Chamber Choir. For more information and tickets, alley-theatre.com or follow our socials.
All right, some of your requests now. This texter says, and I don't know who they are, if they left their name, and it's not to in any way call them out, but obviously, when we're talking about things as serious as vaccines and all, it's important that we, especially with very serious claims being made, it's important, I suppose, that there's we can background check it, and we do as much as we can. But this texter says, I'm shocked at listening about figures. I buried a relative 2 weeks after he got his second vaccine. He had no health issues, and this is not being talked about. He got the vaccine to protect himself and others, and yet no one is talking about the cause of his death, which we are certain is the result of this vaccine. He was a perfectly healthy person until the second vaccine. We cannot continue to ignore these deaths. And I would imagine lots of people are feeling that, because this is not talking to that specific case, but people drop dead every day, unfortunately. I know that myself because I've experienced it. And 92% of the population are vaccinated now. So people are going to be dropping dead after they've had the vaccine, and people are going to say, well, it's because of the vaccine. I presume they're looking into it so we know exactly what the story is. I mean, there's an awful lot of, say, for instance, people sharing stories of sports stars collapsing on the pitch, which sadly has always happened. I was, long before I saw one of these threads that was listed, and, you see a list of 10 stories and you go, wow, what's going on here? But I went back pre-2019 for my own research, because that's what I hope to do. And if people want to believe what they want to believe, that's up to them. And I compiled my own list of, in the previous year, 12 sports people between volleyball, basketball, particularly basketball actually, badminton and others, before there was any vaccine at all, of young people, healthy people in their 20s who had dropped dead. But what people are doing is saying, well, it has to be because of the vaccine. It can't be because of sudden adult death, which unfortunately happens all the time. So there's a lot there, and people are going to believe what they believe, and others are going to think otherwise. But as I say, unfortunately, people, as I say, I know this myself, pass away suddenly at all ages, and I can understand if now there's a vaccine around and it happened after that vaccine, that you might say, well, it has to be because of that. Why else would it happen? But unfortunately, it has always happened, and it will always happen. And I'm not for a second, by the way, saying what that caller is saying is not the case. But I hope if that's what the family feel, that there was an autopsy carried out and they find out what happened. Pfizer whistleblower all over the internet now telling all. It saddens me to hear it advertised for pregnant women. It's all on this whistleblower's report. Will you investigate this? I've seen that, of course. Sorry, but your last speaker was incorrect. Research which came out of the UK stated that the viral load of someone with COVID is the same in unvaccinated as vaccinated. They are not spreading less virus because they are vaccinated. Also, there are some serious illnesses from the vaccine. One girl locally was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome. Now, if the family of that actual person wants to talk to us about that, get in contact with us, because often it's someone locally or a friend of a friend. And of course, if we've always done it, if we can speak directly to the family of these people, if they want to speak, that's fine. The report, it's very important that people read that report as it relates to the viral load. Okay, I'm not going to go through it. I'm not going to counter every single text, but read it. It was as it relates to transmission in a house. Between people of the one family living in the same house. The viral load for a point was equal between the vaccinated and unvaccinated. The period of that viral load being equal was less in the vaccinated, and the transmission was on a close contact within a house environment. The author of that said that this does not apply to what happens outside the home. As I say, it's up to you to read it yourself. I'm not going to counter every text saying it, but what happens is whether you're pro-vaccine or unvaccinated, people take out bits that suit them and ignore the rest. Are the government and the HSC taking any responsibility for the hassle we're all getting now for our details being released with all the fraud calls and texts, since they wouldn't protect our information? I don't hear anyone talking about that. I think this should be a big deal. Is that as it relates to potential vulnerability in the database in Northern Ireland, or are you talking about the HSC being responsible for all the scam calls going around? I'm not sure precisely what you're referring to there. All right, it is time. Okay, that's our musical interlude over for another day. We are joined on the programme now by the French Ambassador to Ireland, Vincent Greyon. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us, Vincent.
Hello, good morning. Very glad to be on your programme this morning.
And you're very welcome to the most beautiful part of this country you're an ambassador to, the Northwest. Tell us the purpose of your visit, Vincent.
Well, it's my first time to visit to Donegal. I've been posted now to Ireland for a year, and it was high time to visit also the Northwest and Donegal. I'm here to visit various leaders like the Mayor of Letterkenny, the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, Mrs. Tony Forrester. I meet also the President of the LYIT Letterkenny, and I was just in Gweedore to see the digital hub in Gweedore. So I have a full day program and a very interesting day to visit this part of the country.
What was the most interesting element for you? Because, of course, you know, I mean, France has plenty of rural areas as well. But to be in Gweedore, one of the most westerly parts of the country, a very rural, beautiful place, but to see business and industry thriving in that area, was that interesting for you?
Yes, it's very interesting to see the sense of initiative also promoted by Udara. And it's also a good way for us in France to see how we can get inspiration, because we also have some rural, peripheral areas or mountainous area which are also, in a way, have to adapt to modern economy and take advantage maybe of home office work. So I was very interested by this visit, and I take good ideas back home.
Now, one of your engagements is a meeting regarding the peace process scheduled to take place in the courthouse in Lifford this afternoon at 4 p.m. And one of the biggest threats of late to the peace process is, of course, Brexit, and particularly the British intention, it seems, to trigger Article 16 and the consequences that could fall out from that. Obviously, on a European scale, we're talking about trade and what have you. On a local scale here, we have the only border with Britain and Northern Ireland. There is fears of a hard border and just tensions on this island as a result of all that is going on. You're fully aware of that, I presume, Vincent, as are our European, as our fellow Europeans.
Yes, that's obviously something we're following very, very closely here at the embassy and in close touch with our Irish friends in government on a daily basis. As you know, France and the rest of the European Union have been fully committed and shown full solidarity with Ireland on this issue, and will continue to do so. It's a huge stake here. And so, as we speak, I know our government, our Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister for European Affairs, also exchanging almost on a daily basis with Mr. Coveney and Mr. Thomas Byrne. It's very serious. The good thing is that, as you've seen, the EU is just united in this issue, and we will continue to show full solidarity to Ireland to avoid certainly any hard border and to maintain peace in this part of the country.
Your role, I suppose, in Ireland might be easier than the role of anyone having to harness and improve relations with Britain, for example. What is your insight into that relationship? Obviously, it's centred on fishing rights and what have you, and there's a local interest as it relates to a vessel that was recently impounded, I suppose you could say, by French authorities. How bad is the relationship between Britain and France at the moment?
Well, we had better days, but we'll continue to work hard to maintain the best relationship, which is important neighbour and friend and ally, obviously, the UK. But it's true to say at the same time that on the EU-UK relation, and with its many let's say, dimension, including on fisheries, we've been very disappointed by the way the British government has acted so far by not delivering, as it should have, licenses to our fishermen who have had historical fishing rights in British waters, including around the Jersey and Guernsey islands. So we will continue to make sure within the EU framework that the rights of these fishermen are granted.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something where we will not, accept to see these rights not recognized.
Yeah, and on that, of course, French fishermen enjoy, generous enough access to French fishing waters. They have a decent share of catch there. Not the same for Irish fishermen. Would you support Irish fishermen, and when I say fishermen, I mean fishers, men and women, having greater access to Irish waters? Would that be something that you, as an ambassador to this country, would support?
I mean, Irish fishermen to have access to British waters.
Irish waters, our own waters.
Your own waters. Well, this is all discussed within the framework of the common fishery policy, where there are extensive talks to see how best to distribute the fish quotas, also in a sustainable way. So we are open to a fair share for all, and certainly also for Irish fishing community.
And finally, you haven't concluded all your engagements, Vincent. What are your takeaways from your trip to Donegal?
Well, indeed, I just started yesterday evening, and a full day, as we mentioned. But it was important for me to come to Donegal because also geographically you are so specific. You have also, as you mentioned before, you have been so impacted by Brexit. And so I wanted to have a first-hand, look at how this evolves, also with various interlocutors, political, economical, and academical. And so I will come back, I think, to Dublin, also meeting some of your TDs and Minister McConnell soon to see how best also maybe French companies can be even more present here in this part of Ireland, and how the increased connection between France and Ireland can also benefit Donegal.
Enjoy the rest of your stay. Thank you very much for speaking to us this morning.
Thank you very much.
Take care. That is the French ambassador to Ireland, Vincent Greyron, who is concluding his visit today. 08660 25,000.
Are your tyres ready for winter? Call into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Brian McCormick, Sports and Leisure Main Street, Letterkenny, your destination ASICS advisor. Looking to go further and faster, or maybe some cushioning and support. ASICS Gel Keano 28 with added flight foam cushioning to the midsole, accompanied with a new and improved stability system. New range of ASICS for men and women in store and online. Look the part, play the part. In store, online, mobile. Click and collect on bmcsports.ie.
At Screwfix, we've brighter deals on lighting, workwear, power tools and more. Keep warm on site and save 30%. The DeWalt Winter Accessories Pack with hat, socks and snood is now only $14.95. And the Site Teak Zip-Through Fleece is now just $19.95. Order on screwfix.ie for click and collect or shop in store. Screwfix. Here when you need us. While stocks last. Price is valid until at least 29th of November. Visit screwfix.ie for T's and C's, delivery charges and restrictions.
The Citroen Open Week is now on at Highland Motors in Letterkenny. Call in and see the full range, including the C3 Super Mini, the C3 Aircross SUV, and the all-new C4 Crossover, which is available in petrol, diesel and 100% electric with a range of 350 kilometres. There's probably the most comfortable SUV on the market, the C5 Aircross, which is still available to order in diesel, and not forgetting the award-winning Grand Space Tourer 7-seater with great offers available on all models. Order during Open Week and you'll get 3 years free servicing. Terms and conditions apply. Call into the Citroen Open Week this week at Highland Motors, Mountaintop, Letterkenny.
Oh, my favourite.
That's Miss Murphy. She's just opened her M&S app and seen that she's got a little treat just for being a loyal M&S customer. Not only that, but every time she shops with Sparks, she's in with a chance to get her entire shop for free.
Yum! Nut.
You've got some sugar around your mouth? There. No, just there. Yeah, now you're good. Sparks, the new reward scheme from M&S. Good things happen every time you shop. Join today in the M&S app. Terms, conditions and exclusions apply. For details, see marksandspencer.ie.
Highland Radio weather updates with National Fuels Letterkenny. For a keen price on your home heating oil, call National Fuels on 9137 400.
So the patchy rain and drizzle clearing eastwards this morning to leave a day of sunny spells and passing showers. Highest temperatures around 11 to 13 degrees in mostly moderate southwest breezes. Now, Dementia, Understand Together, is inspiring people from all sections of society to stand together with the 500,000 Irish people whose families have been affected by dementia. We want to help create an Ireland that embraces and includes people who are living with dementia and which displays solidarity with them and their loved ones. Now, a recent survey shows increasing numbers of people are more empathetic and understanding of people with dementia. This is a very welcome piece of news, as negative public perceptions and stigma can isolate people with dementia and cause them to withdraw. And we are part of a campaign to address all the issues mentioned and much more. And here's some further information.
When it comes to supporting people living with dementia, you might ask, is there something I can do? The answer is, actually, more than you think. 9 in 10 of us believe people living with dementia have the right to be active citizens in their communities, but sometimes they need support to stay connected and engage. It starts with understanding that everyone with dementia has a different experience. So talk to them and their family. Ask how they are and how you can help. Look around your community. Is your social or sports club welcoming people with dementia? Is your shop accessible? And are spaces and amenities easy to use? It is so often the small things that make the big difference. By being that one person who asks, what can I do? You're making that difference. Free phone 1-800-341-341 or visit understandtogether.ie. From the HSE in partnership with the Alzheimer's Society of Ireland and Age Friendly Ireland.
Get your tyres ready for winter. Call into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
When someone's having a stroke, minutes matter, because 2 million brain cells die every minute after a stroke. So call 112 or 999 for medical help fast if you ever see any of these FAST symptoms. F for face, has it fallen on one side? A for arms, can both be held up? S for speech, is it slurred? T for time, it's time to call 112 or 999 fast. A message from the Irish Heart Foundation, supported by Pfizer and Bristol Myers Squibb. Learn more at irishheart.ie.
Beat the cost of Brexit and no customs charges. Do you need a UK address? For your limited company or personal use, Space Hub in Derry can provide you with your own virtual office or mailbox. Have your post and parcels delivered to Space Hub and collect at your convenience. Also brand new 20-foot shipping containers now in stock. Ideal for all your storage needs at our Springtown and Coolmore depots. Find us on Facebook or spacehubderry.com or call 04871 878077 for details.
Some days the couch just calls to us.
Take a seat. Grab the remote. My cushions are extra cozy today.
And while we all want to get off the couch to set a healthier routine, not knowing how to start can feel overwhelming. Healthy Ireland is a trusted source for easy-to-follow tips and advice, like getting a friend involved with your healthy habits so they'll be able to motivate you on those tougher days. Search Healthy Ireland and get set for life this winter. From Healthy Ireland, a Government of Ireland initiative supporting health and well-being for everyone and helping us off our couches.
Do you suffer from high cholesterol, menopause symptoms, digestive issues, anxiety, aches and pains, or a lack of energy? The highly trained team at The Natural Way Letterkenny can provide advice on natural remedies for a number of individual health issues. The Natural Way also has its own brand of herbal treatments to help fight fatigue, relieve digestive discomfort, maintain a healthy immune system and alleviate common menopause symptoms. The Natural Way at Letterkenny Shopping Centre, your one-stop health shop.
Northern Ireland's premier Christmas event, the Enchanted Winter Garden, returns to the award-winning Antrim Castle Gardens from Saturday 27th of November until Tuesday the 21st of December. This outdoor Christmas extravaganza has a dazzling array of festive attractions to capture the magic of Christmas. Be enchanted by the stunning illuminations, the spectacular Wonderland Wood, live music, festive fare and the Big Wheel. Why not make your visit extra special with a staycation or dinner? Check out our special offers and book your tickets at enchantedwintergarden.com. Sponsored by Belfast International Airport.
Throughout Ireland, change is happening. Together we can build a community of support to empower those living with dementia. Highland Radio, proud to support Dementia Understand Together. Brought to you by the HSC.
You are tuned to Ireland's #1 local radio station. This is Highland Radio. It's 11:11. You're tuned to the 9 till noon show here with me, Greg Hughes. A busy hour to come. Stay right where you are. But it's time for a news update now. We say good morning once again to Michaela Clark.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. The Public Expenditure Minister says any premises which isn't complying with COVID-19 rules does not deserve to stay open. Research by the ESRI shows a third of customers in restaurants and pubs aren't having their COVID cert checked. Government officials will meet with hospitality sector representatives this afternoon to reiterate that the rules must be complied with. The government is being urged to stop leaking trial balloons as it relates to the MICA redress scheme. Details of a so-called enhanced scheme were due to be published today. However, it is being delayed as further adjustments are to be carried out. It's after speculation that a cap of €350,000 would be included in the scheme, which in turn would have excluded around 40% of MICA affected householders. A house in Letterkenny has been ransacked during a burglary in recent days. Sometime between 11 o'clock on Sunday night and 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, entry was gained to the property in the Ardnaree area and entry was forced through the rear door. Items including a karaoke machine, a Michael Kors watch, jewellery and a number of clothing items were stolen. Meanwhile, Gardaí are appealing to residents in the Solomon's Manor area of Letterkenny to come forward if they have any information relating to a break-in last week. Entry was gained to a house in the area by forcing open a rear window between 11 o'clock on Tuesday morning last and 11 o'clock the following morning. Gardaí say it was evident those responsible had searched the property before making off with a 40 to 50-inch TV. Donegal County Council is being urged to include a sum of money in next year's budget to progress plans for a promenade in Downings. The issue is to be raised at a meeting of Letterkenny Milford Municipal District this afternoon by Councillor John O'Donnell, who says between €20,000 and €25,000 is needed to progress a foreshore licence application in the next 12 months. There were 44 people awaiting beds at Letterkenny University Hospital this morning, 8 of them on emergency department trolleys. It's the joint third highest figure in the state this morning, along with Cork, with only Galway and Limerick registering larger numbers. Antigua has today published a number of inspection reports on designated centres for people with disabilities. 2 centres in Donegal were inspected during an unannounced visit in August of this year. No non-compliances were identified in Chassona or Moville Residential Group Home. Those are the latest headlines. We'll be back with an update again at 12 noon.
OK, Michaela, thank you very much.
It's flu season. So if you're 65 or over, it's time to get your free annual flu vaccine. While anyone can catch the flu, you're more at risk of getting seriously ill or needing hospital treatment. And the new flu vaccine is the best way to protect yourself from the flu. So make an appointment with your GP or pharmacist today. Visit hse.ie/flu for more. From the HSE.
With all the stories that matter across the Northwest, it's Greg Hughes on the 9 to Noon show on Highland Radio.
OK, on to the programme. Back onto the programme now is Carmel. Good morning, Carmel.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Take us back to July.
Oh, God. Where do we start? July 2020, we started with water leaks and water burst pipes on the Maherbeig Road between Maherbeig and what we call the end of the bank. It started July 2020. We had about 17 from July 2020 until August 2021. It came to, what was happening...
17 water outages?
Yeah, 17, yeah. It was absolutely unbelievable. What was happening, we were having maybe 2 on the one day. It was when they fixed one, because they fixed one, the one that was coming next burst again. And it was just actually unbelievable. We got up in the mornings, we weren't sure if we would have water to have a shower and make a cup of tea. And we live on an island, which is, with a population maybe about 300 or 400 people. And there's a lot of old people on it. We have carers coming in. And getting up in the morning and having no water to make a cup of tea or wash, it was absolutely unacceptable. And we spoke with, thank God for Jack Murray. He was the go-between for a long time, and people emailed him in. And I spoke with Kevin Lake, then myself, back in August.
But it was clear enough was enough, and you decided as a community, and I think you spearheaded it, to petition Irish Water. Tell us how that started and what kind of reaction you had.
Do you know what? When it comes to a point that you have two in the one day, the following week you have another one. You say enough's enough. What can we do? At the end of the day, the people speaks. So I spoke to my friend Cara Boyle and I asked Cara, would you do a petition, put it on Facebook and see how it goes? It got good. Then we'd say, then we'll go one step further. We'll put it in the local shops. You were off on holidays when I spoke to Donald on your show. We put it in our local shops, and it got momentum we wanted it to get, and it worked. So back, I didn't do anything with it. I did have the same petition in the house for maybe 3 weeks, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to hold off until we have another one, because I knew another one was coming. And on the 18th of October, I got up and I was actually preparing to take my old man to the hospital to high wash him. I couldn't even wash him. We had no water, and I thought, enough. So I was sitting in the hospital with them A&E. I thought, I emailed them. I sent them all the petitions off to them, and lo and behold, I got an email back from them, and they say that they've passed it on, and they gave me a new reference number. And then Jack Murray emailed me yesterday evening to confirm that we have a new pipe being installed in early next year.
Yeah,
which is amazing.
And it goes to show, and in fairness to the people of Inishowen are leading the charge on this, I think, between many recent events. If you get together, if you organise, change can be affected, or at the very least, if it's not, you can very much shine a light on the problem and embarrass whomever might be responsible into action.
Yeah, of course you can. When you look at what Pi Dever has done for the Mega campaign, and I said to Cara, listen, we need to do something as a whole, not just one person or two people. We have to get together as a community to get this sorted. The petition started off, and that's where it goes.
Because the old line's like whack-a-mole. Fix a problem, it pushes it down the line, it bursts, then the repair bursts. This is going to be a 1.2 kilometre water mains replacement. Yeah, of course. And you know what? If you drive on the Maharbeig Road, which is 1.2 kilometres, the amount of burst pipes you see all the time, where they have fixed one, then moved on, fixed one, moved on, fixed one, and it's just become, it was absolutely unbelievable. If they had done back in 2020, 2021, put a longer pipe in around these deep joints, because the pipes that they were originally using was asbestos pipes. So they had big pipes, and it wouldn't have happened. But every time we looked around, there was another burst pipe, and it was unacceptable. Greg, I said to Donald, when I built my house back in 2002, I had to pay $6,000 to have water to my house. I didn't pay $6,000 to have no water to my house. Yeah, and as well as that, you're paying for this through your general taxation. Water's not free. We're all paying for it. It might not be as in your face as a water charge and a meter, but we are all paying for this water. And 95% is the inconvenience, Carmel, to you and the community in general. But what about all that water that's being treated and it's just running away into the land? It's absolutely disgraceful. Hopefully this puts an end to both issues. Yes, because at the end of the day, Greg, the news to the man is wash your hands. We couldn't wash your hands. We couldn't even make ourselves a cup of tea. Like, we were out maybe from 12 o'clock at night until maybe 4 o'clock the next day with no water. Like, that is unacceptable. And like, Inch Island is a large place, and nobody had water. It was absolutely ridiculous. We have a reservoir, and then does the other part of the island, but we come from Buncrana, and obviously, and then thinking then of running a pipe to Letterkenny. How dare they? They need to fix us first before they start anything about Letterkenny. We need to fix, and obviously, and thanks to Jack Murray and Kevin Lake, also in the Donegal County Council, they put the pressure on with myself, and we got it sorted, and we got the outcome we wanted, because the people have spoken together. And it worked. Because what happens is, and I'm not talking specific to this case, is people believe the neighbours reported it or is complaining, and Irish Water is sitting there, or any big company is sitting there rubbing their hands together, because hundreds of people are being affected, and they get the odd communication here and they just put it down to, there's angry Carmel again, or whoever it might be. Yeah. This can't be ignored because you've got a group of people in an area coming together and doing so in a very public fashion, outing really the service as you know, putting a figure on it, 17 outages, describing how it's affecting people like it did in the last case that you talk of, you know, before the petition was actually submitted. That's how you do it. You get together, you organise, everyone puts in their own say in it, their own signature, and it can't be ignored if it's scaled.
Definitely not. I sent through 17 pages of signatures through to them on that Sunday evening, Monday morning, and it worked. It worked, and I want to thank the people who took time out to sign the forms. I want to thank the local shops for taking the forms and ask the people to sign them. Because at the end of the day, only for that, one email wouldn't have worked, 2 emails wouldn't have worked. But when they see the people power together and they've seen how many houses and people this is affecting in life, like, we don't live in a third world country, Greg. We live in Donegal. We live in Lishoan. So we're entitled to up in the morning and have water every morning, and not wondering, are we going to have water to shower, wash, have a cup of tea, nothing.
And I know you're high in, and this is not talking of this particular incident. I know you're high in praise for the people you've mentioned, but when communities organise like this as well, it puts a lot of pressure on politicians, be they local reps, and I'm not talking about this particular incident, or TDs, or people who make decisions in a local authority. Everyone starts getting a bit edgy and wanting to work on this. And as I say, I'm not suggesting that's what triggered Councillor Murray's involvement in this. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking more generally to communities organising and taking the control and the power themselves.
Yeah, of course it is. But I have to say, Greg, I have to give Jack Murray.
100%. I'm not in any way taking away from that.
No, I understand, but he was the only one we could go to.
Yeah.
I went to Jack Murray, and then we went to Kevin Lake in the Donegal County Council, and with them two together, and then with the people's power, we got as a whole, and we got the signatures. We sent it off to Irish Water. They come back with a reply, which I was quite shocked at. They forwarded on to a different department with a new reference number, and it worked. And you know what? Jack emailed me last night and told me, Carmel, we got our new pipe. It was like, wow, amazing. Well done us, not just well done me, well done us.
100%, yeah, exactly. Yeah, right, Carmel, well done to you for organising the petition, and well done to everyone who signed it. Well done for Irish Water. Let's give a bit of credit where it's due. Well done for them responding, and you know, we'll see what the crack is in the new year. This will make a difference to a lot of people. Well done, Carmel. Thanks for the update. I appreciate it greatly.
Thanks for your time and your help. Cheers.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
Take care of yourself. All right, Carmel Lynch there, speaking about that petition. The power of the people when they get together and organise it, and we're seeing it more often. And we you know, need to take some of this stuff out of the hands of politicians or the media. They can be helpful and what have you, but, you know, the people really can do a job on it, can't they? Right, okay. Back with more after these.
Get your tyres ready for winter. Call into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
At Life Pharmacy, we're focused on your family's health, immunity and well-being. This winter, call into your local Life Pharmacy for expert advice on vitamins, supplements and everything you need to support your family's health. Plus, ask about our special 3-for-2 offer on selected vitamins and supplements. Visit Ward's Life Pharmacy in Johnstown Village and discover a team that's always there to help you. Life Pharmacy. Live better together.
The Citroen Open Week is now on at Highland Motors in Letterkenny. Call in and see the full range, including the C3 Super Mini, the C3 Aircross SUV, and the all-new C4 Crossover, which is available in petrol, diesel, and 100% electric with a range of 350 kilometres. There's probably the most comfortable SUV on the market, the C5 Aircross, which is still available to order in diesel. And not forgetting the award-winning Grand Space Tourer 7-seater, with great offers available on all models. Order during Open Week and you'll get 3 years free servicing. Terms and conditions apply. Call into the Citroen Open Week this week at Highland Motors, Mountaintop, Letterkenny.
Homeland Fuel offers, keeping you warm for less. 20 kg Super Therm, buy 5 bags, get 1 bag of hardwood logs free. 10 kg wood pellets, buy 10, get 1 free. Board Namona briquettes, buy 3 for €16. Shop in-store or online at homeland.ie.
Applications are now open for the Donegal Enterprise Awards, hosted by Local Enterprise Office Donegal. The awards celebrate the diversity and strength of the small business community in Donegal and the role they play in our local economy. prize fund of €12,000 will be awarded across 7 different categories. This is an excellent opportunity to promote and showcase your businesses. All finalists will be profiled and attend the award ceremony in December. Apply before the 15th of November at localenterprise.ie/Donegal. Email info@leo.donegalcoco.ie for more information, or call the local enterprise office on 9160735.
It's flu season, so if you're 65 or over, it's time to get your free annual flu vaccine. While anyone can catch the flu, you're more at risk of getting seriously ill or needing hospital treatment. And the new flu vaccine is the best way to protect yourself from the flu. So make an appointment with your GP or pharmacist today. Visit hse.ie/flu for more. From the HSE.
At Letterkenny Shopping Centre, we're already dreaming about the festive season, so why not make a start? Park for free and enjoy your Christmas shopping this year. Letterkenny Shopping Centre, bringing you the time at
16 minutes past 11. Now, later, government officials meet the hospitality sector today about the lack of compliance with COVID rules. The Department of the Taoiseach sought the meeting on Friday after new ESRI data was released. It found 34% of customers in restaurants aren't having their COVID certs checked and 37% in pubs. Carol Meehan is owner of the Yellow Pepper restaurant in Letterkenny, a member of the Restaurants Association of Ireland. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us today, Carol.
Good morning. Thank you.
Right. So, obviously, there is a lot of people not checking these certs. What's your information? Your company is, your business is. Do you feel that you are outliers? Do you think compliance is as high as the SRI are saying?
All I know is what we do is we check everybody coming in. We ask for it. We have a sign on the outside of the door now because of the change in weather, so people aren't queuing and getting cold or in the rain. So we have an extra sign saying, please have your COVID cert ready. We check everybody on the way in. We also have a booking system, so we have the contact tracing that's done. A lot of people are booking online now, which is a great thing. And even if you call, that all goes into the system for us. But I do hear at the door they're a bit flustered and they don't know where it is. They haven't seen it in months and weeks, and they're saying, oh, we are the first person that's asked us. We haven't been asked. So I was really surprised because we're doing it correctly and we're diligently doing it.
But that then even for those who are vaccinated, they may not like this COVID cert system because it does divide society. Could it be damaging your business? Like, in other words, your reputation for enforcing these rules, is that a benefit or a disadvantage, do you think?
I don't know. Interesting. I got one email. The LYIT graduations is a very busy time for Letterkenny, and everybody does really well out of it in restaurants, hotels and bars and hairdressers and everybody. And I had one very nasty email sent saying, she said in it, I see your restaurant prefers to take COVID certs over my money. And I thought, I didn't make the rules, and we want to stay open. We want to be safe, and maybe people don't realise the importance of it. And that for society and for businesses to stay open and survive, we need compliance.
There's a silent majority as well out there, and they contact this show off air, who don't want to go to a restaurant unless they're enforcing the rules because they don't feel safe. So they are fully with the public health message. Now, given the rate of vaccination in this country, they are in the majority. So, maybe those businesses that aren't enforcing this are excluding a lot of clientele that want to be in a place that they feel is compliant and safe.
Yeah, I agree. I do. People really appreciate it. And, sometimes people get up and close the windows, and then you go over and you open it and you just explain, I just want to keep the airflow going. And, you're trying to do it right, Interesting. So we had 3 tables outside on Saturday night. So I just decided, no, this it's not very compliant survey or anything, but I just asked people why they were outside. It's not weather for eating outside. Now ours is covered, it's roofed, and we have heaters, but it's still freezing. And I was saying to them, why are you outside? Are you not vaccinated? Just wanted to know, where people were coming from. One table were a younger couple. They were, he hadn't been vaccinated, mostly because he doesn't get around to it. And I said, why is that? And he said, I never got to do it. And I said, you can go everywhere, you know, and you can go into the pharmacy and it's walk in. And another table chose to be outside because someone in their family wasn't well. Now, they were all vaccinated men, but they had a family member who wasn't well and they were protecting that person. And I thought, it's not really brilliant as well, people doing that. And the other person, somebody wasn't vaccinated at all and didn't want to be. So that was, you know, and then I just knew they didn't want to say, so I didn't ask anything then.
You see, I get it and I understand it. I don't think anyone's comfortable with this, really, to be honest with you, that we have to be in this situation. But it's who's speaking out. Like, you know, the people I talk of earlier on that want this so that they feel safer inside, maybe that group of individuals you talk of might be amongst them. They're not really speaking out. And even by having this conversation, like, I know there'll be very pointed and angry text either at you or at me. And they've already come in today. By speaking about this, even by having this conversation, there is a smaller group of people that are much more vocal and targeted in their approach. It's a very unfortunate societal situation we find ourselves in right now at the moment.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think the thing about it is we didn't make the rules, you know, and you're trying to have your business. And the most important thing to me is to be open and have the jobs for all the staff and to do it in a safe manner, that we stay open and that we keep people safe. That's really what where we're coming from. And if that's what it takes, you know, we're following, as you'd say, we're following the recipe. You want to make something, you do it right. You know, that's what we're trying to do.
But there's two options here, isn't there? There is mass enforcement of this or scrap it, because this sort of half and half system we have, it's doing no one any favours. It might be disadvantaging businesses that are being compliant. It might encourage those less likely to follow public health guidelines into the one place that's not enforcing it. I mean, we should do one or other, shouldn't we? This sort of half and half compliance, half non-compliance, I don't think it's doing anyone any favours. Or what's your view, Carol?
Yeah, well, you know, I still think the compliance bit is the way to go. You know, I think, you know, you take the advice, you know, if you're unwell, you take the advice of your doctor. We're in an unwell country at the moment, so we have to take the advice of NPHET, and that's the way I see it. I look to those experts are there. They're not there to annoy people. They're there for the greater good. And that to me is the way, the path to follow.
There are people out there, though, that believe there's some sort of ulterior motive. It's about control and power, that there is some global influence over all of this. But I mean, you're not going to have that conversation with them at the restaurant front door, I presume.
No, I don't think so. But listen, you know, we've been lucky in that, you know, we've had great weather over the summer, and lots of us did get to eat outside in very nice places and really learnt a new way of being and a new way of kind of socialising in Ireland that we never thought would happen. And I suppose you could say, look at the good that has come out of it. We were able to develop a lovely wee place in a horrible old lane to the side of the restaurant, and the compliments it gets is incredible. And you know, there's a lot of good feeling around, you know, this change in the way of being and the way of socialising. And I know we have to go through two probably very cold months for November and December. But listen, as they say, spring is never too far away and things will be back again.
All right. So I presume, I mean, it's not hard to guess what will come from this meeting. The government will say, look, if you want to avoid restrictions over Christmas, these measures have to be fully introduced. Adrian Cummins will say, that's grand, but give us a time when we can get rid of these certs. You know, what is the critical mass of those vaccinated that it's no longer required? That's what's going to go on at the meeting.
I expect that. Yeah, exactly.
Can I ask if you had anyone visit your premises to check about enforcement out of interest?
We didn't have particularly around that. We did have one of the local health inspectors did come in a good while ago now, but mostly he was checking around what we, you know, the operations at the beginning. You know, is your door open? Do you have the signs? Did you have, you know, have we PVC in front of the till? All those type of things. And he did, you know, asked us to make sure that we had contact tracing. And you know, he looked and he said, yeah. And they had a little form, and he ticked. You know, he had a little thing to say, and it said satisfactory. And I was saying to him, satisfactory. satisfactory. That sounds like I'm not doing good enough. And he said, no, it's either satisfactory or not. And I was thinking that's not a good word.
You wanted a slightly bigger pat on the back.
I wanted a better pat on the back, exactly.
All right, Carol, listen, thanks for joining us this morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
take
you.
care of yourself. That is Carol Meenan there, owner of the Yellow Pepper Restaurant, Letterkenny, a member of the Restaurants Association of Ireland. That meeting's taking place later. To say, you know, you could print out what's going to come out of it right now and you wouldn't be too far off. We were talking about that trial that concluded yesterday. This caller says, read the paymaster. The dogs on the street have long known their identity. However, despite bluff and bluster, the establishment will refuse to give one of their own up, especially when the paymaster knows where the political bodies are buried. That's how things work in this country. I was called by the doctor for the booster. I'm in the age bracket. It's not 5 months since my second vaccine. When I went to the doctors, nobody asked. Check date of last vaccine. When I pointed out it wasn't 5 months ago, I was told I couldn't get the booster. Doctor obviously calling people on age, not date of last vaccine. How many people have got the booster earlier than they should, says that caller there. Hi, Greg. This is a bit random, I know, but has anyone else noticed that the time clock on the Sky TV screen is still on summertime? I haven't had any contact from that, but I know other people out there have been commenting on that. It's a minor distraction, but something of an annoyance. Is there a fix for it? Someone's clock on their Sky box is still on summertime. Hi, Greg. A quick question, but I've just seen a post up from a doctor's surgery about having to provide a COVID passport or vaccine passport to attend the doctors now for face-to-face appointments. This is a bit ridiculous at this stage. Vaccinated or not, we still spread the virus. This seems unfair to other people who feel like they don't have a choice anymore. They believe it's just another tool to, that's what they probably believe, to coerce, where they might use the final 7.5% of adults that haven't had their vaccine yet. But it is interesting, you know, regardless of what anyone's views, it is interesting how that study as it relates to viral load and transmission in the home has now become, you know, common discourse for talking about vaccinated versus unvaccinated. And I imagine not an awful lot of people perhaps have actually read that study. Right, it is the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. Back with more after these.
Get your tyres winter ready. Drop into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
Are you a self-assessed income taxpayer? Use Ross, Revenue's online service, to pay and file online by November 17th. If you're not yet registered for Ross, do so today at revenue.ie. Avoid a surcharge, interest, penalties and a possible tax audit. Don't miss the November 17th deadline. Pay and file on time.
At Lidl this week, we've a deliciously authentic taste of Italy. Irresistible deluxe pistachio ice cream, just $1.99. Gorgeous deluxe iced tiramisu, just $3.99. And melt in the mouth deluxe amaretti, only $1.99. Bellissimo, as they say in Rome. And on the radio when we want to sound Italian. Lidl, more for you.
Getting married? Don't leave it too late. Book with us today at the Groom's Room in Evolve Clothing, Letterkenny Retail Park.
Candles, lanterns, Christmas trees, decorations and all types of lights. Everything you need for Christmas. Experience the magic of Christmas at Cooney's. Our biggest and best Christmas shop has outstanding value on lights and trees. There really is something for everyone at Cooney's Letterkenny Retail Park.
Auctioneers, estate agents, letting agents and property management agents operating in the Republic of Ireland must hold a Property Services Regulatory Authority PSRA licence. An auctioneer may auction land, fine arts, antiques or animals at a mart. When engaging an agent, don't assume your agent is licensed. Check the PSRA Register of Licensed Agents at psr.ie. Unlicensed agents are breaking the law. Report unlicensed operators to info@psr.ie. Remember, no PSRA licence, no PSRA consumer protection.
The National Inpatient Experience Survey is now underway. If you stayed a night or more in a public hospital during September this year, you will have received a letter by post asking you to participate in the survey. Sharing your experience with us will help us to improve the care our hospitals provide. For more information, visit yourexperience.ie. From the HSC, the Health Information and Quality Authority and the Department of Health.
Store and Go Springtown Dairy, the North of Ireland's only temperature-controlled smart access individually sized storage units.
Store and Go offers storage for personal storage, house moves and renovations. Business storage for excess stock or filing systems. Once signed up, you can access 24 hours a day through an app on your phone, gaining access through 4 levels of security to your most precious possessions.
Call Store and Go Springtown Dairy on 02871 278 900 to discuss your needs and get bespoke advice, or get a free quote at storeandgo.net.
All right. Did you have an overnight stay, at least one night, at Letterkenny University Hospital and over the age of 16? Well, you're being invited to engage in a survey on inpatient experiences. It's from HICWA, the Health Information and Quality Authority. The director of the National Care Experience Programme is Rachel Flynn, and she's on the line now. Rachel, how are you?
Good morning, Greg. I'm good, thank you.
Right, okay, so then between what period of time and who do you want to hear from as part of this programme?
Okay, so all 40 public acute hospitals are participating in this survey, and that includes Letterkenny University Hospital. So there's about 891 patients discharged from Letterkenny University Hospital during the month of September, and each one of those will receive an invitation asking them to participate in the survey. And the survey will look at, I suppose, their care and their experience. So there are a number of questions on admission to hospital, care on the ward, some questions around examination, diagnosis and their treatment when they're going home. And we've added this year for the first time some questions around care during the pandemic relating to COVID-19. So just maybe to give your viewers, your listeners, an example of that. So we have questions on, were you told you had COVID-19 at any time during your stay? While you were in hospital, did you feel you were at risk of catching COVID? Other questions relate to, communication with staff. It's obviously more difficult with PPE and masks. So we ask a number of questions around that. And did you understand when you were communicating with staff? And also there are questions around being able to connect your family when you're in hospital because of the restrictions and the lack of the ability to go in as much as pre-COVID. So there are a number of questions on that.
And what will come from this, though? Because, let's just give an example. There will be people that will respond and say, I presented with my elderly relative who has, we know what they have, and they displayed respiratory illness, and they were put through the COVID pathway and sitting with other suspected COVID patients, even though they knew, we knew, and it turned out that the respiratory issue they had was not COVID related. We feel they were put in a position of danger, okay? I imagine that will come up on the form. How is that actionable, though? What do we learn from that? What would be the purpose then of someone submitting that to you? What could the outcome be?
Okay, so this isn't the first year that we've conducted the survey. We've conducted it in 2017, 2018, 2019. Albeit that was pre-COVID. There are a number of questions about being treated with respect and dignity. If you had to ask a question that that you could ask that and you understood the answer. So there are items that will come out of this that we will need to improve, regardless whether we have COVID or not. One of the areas in particular that we found from the last number of years in the survey was the patients told us that they felt that the discharge home was very rushed. They felt on the last day they were given lots of information. They didn't have time to plan going home. And as a result, the hospitals put in place lots of initiatives to improve that.
Okay, so it can work. Are people who didn't have the perfect experience more likely to perhaps engage with you? Do you know, if we get out of hospital and everything went well and we're home, it's like, thank God, I don't even want to think about that. But if that is the case, is that okay too? I mean, maybe, or do you need people, regardless of their experience, to engage?
Oh, we want as many people as possible to engage, whether they had a good experience or whether that it needs improvement. And the reason for that is that we feed this back to the staff. So in the previous years when we've conducted the survey, nationally 85% said that they had a good experience. And again, I think staff, have huge pride in that, and getting that feedback is hugely beneficial for our healthcare system. 15% then said that they had either a fair to poor experience. I think that's really important important as well. It's not, we need to hear why that experience was poor and what can we do to improve that experience. So we want to hear from everybody, actually, because it's very difficult and different, when you're a healthcare professional delivering care in a hospital versus a patient receiving that care. And sometimes it's that kind of fresh perspective from the patient that really hits home with the healthcare professionals. They've very much taken the feedback on board over the last number of years. Again, it's not HICWA saying it, it's not the HSE saying it, it's the patients from the community saying this about the health services. And the majority of healthcare professionals are there to provide high quality and safe care. So they want to hear from this, whether that's good or whether that can be improved, so that they can make improvements in the care that they deliver.
Yeah,
it's
and
been
patients
a really
then
tough year as well for the healthcare professionals.
Yeah, for sure. And patients themselves have an opportunity, I suppose, to feel to have a system to feed back into.
Yeah, and the reason why we administer the questionnaire, send out the questionnaire 2 weeks after they've been discharged, is to allow the patient to think about that admission. So it's not given the last day kind of a rush process, asking them their experience to be delighted that they're going home, and again, there mightn't be a true reflection. So it allows 2 weeks, allows people to think about their experience and allows them to absorb it and to then participate in the questionnaire. So I think it's really important that we hear from as many people as possible. And as I said, there's about 891 patients discharged from Letterkenny University Hospital during the month of September. So we would like to hear from as many people as possible on that.
Will all of them receive this invite, or if they don't get it by a certain time, do they contact you guys, or do you think you'll have everyone covered?
We should have everybody covered, but if anybody wants to contact us, they can either email us on info@yourexperience.ie. We have a website called www.yourexperience.ie, but they should have received the invitation by now. There will be reminders sent out as well, just inviting them to participate in the survey. But there is criteria, as you've said at the introduction of this interview. They have to be over 16, they have to have an address in the Republic of Ireland, and they have to have stayed in the hospital greater than 24 hours.
Right.
So,
and to have been discharged in September. I think you mentioned that, of course.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for that, Rachel. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Greg.
All right, take care. Rachel Flynn there, Director of National Care Experience Programme with HICWA. Hi, Greg. My sister-in-law got paid €40 for an antigen test in a pharmacy, which seems very expensive for an antigen test, but anyway. Because she was travelling international, she was just uneasy about the way it was done, so she decided to book a test in St. Connell's. The pharmacy antigen test came back negative, and yes, you've guessed it, the St. Connell's test came back positive. So why are we putting our faith in these antigen tests when they are not flawless? The schools have mass infection, but yet antigen tests are supposedly the early warning sign for prevention. The government at this stage are filling us with total misinformation. I'm not going to unpack all of that. It's very expensive for an antigen test, €40. That doesn't seem right to me. Antigen tests works at certain times if they're done regularly. You know, the only way, the way they're employed in different countries, it's not that you just take one and then that's it. It's you're supposed to take them over a period of a certain amount of days, and it'll pick you up at a certain level of infection. I don't know the ins and outs of it. Greg, superfan of Sugar Babes, the most loyal historic fan in the short-lived history of the Sugar Babes. Do you ever meet them? In the past, I bet their concerts were the best thing ever back in the day. I'm also a fan. I'm not slagging. I'm a super fan of Sugar Babes. I don't know. I think they're one of the best bands. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of theirs. I think there was a couple of good songs of theirs, definitely. A lot of mixed messages out there. If you want to go to a dance, you have to be vaccinated. But if you book into a hotel, you do not have to be vaccinated. You can go to the hotel bar, dance, dine, and do what you want without a vaccine. How does the virus know what you're doing? It doesn't know what you're doing at all. People are fed up. There is such a vast amount of mixed messages and changes in the information. The anxiety they are causing over the head of this. People who are sitting outside the premises should not be asked if they're vaccinated. This is discrimination to the highest. I think what you'll find is that was asked in a very casual, conversational and indirect way. You know, why are you sitting out here? Do you not feel safe? Is it do you not have the vaccine pass? It was not to interrogate them. It was just to get a straw poll. And I presume, as to say, it was done as part of a general sort of casual conversation, which I think people are having up and down and across the country. Was out last night in Donegal, as I have family down from up the west, was in 4 bars. Not once was any of us asked for a COVID card. My family could not believe, because up in Westport, you have to show the COVID-19 card, and to prove it's you as well. Yeah, it depends where you are. It's different up here in the northwest, you know. Attitudes are very different down the country. Eamon Ryan tested positive for COVID, so why is he travelling to Scotland? I don't believe about him being asked to have a second test. Why would he be asked if the first test was done correctly? They say that the first test was actually inconclusive, and that's why. Morning, Greg. Sick of this government and all these politicians. One rule for them and another for us. It's unbelievable but typical of government. They can do what they want. It'll continue as long as everyone lets it continue. Threats of election doesn't even bother them at this stage. They know that the obedient little people will just do what they're told without question. I mean, is following the public health guidelines being an obedient little person? It's that kind of language, them and us, regardless of who's them and who is us. It's horrible, really, where we're at now, that people think their neighbours who are following public health guidelines are obedient little people, whilst the neighbours might look across and say, well, they're right-wing conspiracy theorists. That's the space we're in now, and it can happen within families, within friends groups, within neighbourhoods. Greg, proof as if we need more that PCR tests can be used to give the result the controller of the strings wants for the puppet he is controlling. And therein lies the problem with how the government handled that. It leads to that point of view. Very little thought seems to be given in any road layout decision in Letterkenny. I see a crossing at the bottom of the hill at Gortlee, also in the front of LYIT, where cars are stuck in traffic in the middle of a junction. They can no longer see a red light for the pedestrian crossing. Well, that's not necessarily the layout. I think that's motorists not following the layout. Maybe going between those traffic lights on orange and find themselves sitting in between them as they turn red. Okay. Reinsurance brokers. A caller says he's been trying to get a quote for house insurance, and there are certain brokers that won't quote against one another, and then when he called another broker to ask for a quote, wouldn't disclose which broker was insured through. They refused to quote him. Has anyone else experienced this? Are insurance brokers allowed to refuse to quote against one another? I don't know the ins and outs of that. I've never come across that before. I've never really engaged with a broker, and it's not for any particular reason. I just would price around myself. It's just never been part of how I go about getting insurance. As I say, I'm not in any way saying it's not the right way to do it, but I don't know what the story is there. It wouldn't be very competitive, would it, if that's the case? Stick with the roads just before a break here. I'm so glad the pedestrian crossings are being discussed. Last week, my husband parked beside the zebra crossing at Super Value in Buncrana as I went into the shop. He sat there for the 10 minutes that I was in the shop, and he said that 10 cars drove through the red light at the crossing, one of which the driver was on the phone. Furthermore, the crossing at Scollisigon causes me great concern. On a daily basis, I see cars stop when the red man is flashing and wave children across the road. Parents also cross when it's red. I've witnessed a school bus and a patrol car wave children across at the very time they should not leave the footpath. Please ask drivers to adhere to the rules of the road so that when we teach our children to do the same, they are safe. Do not tell a child to cross when the man is red. It's giving mixed messages. Plus, parents, guardians, please lead by example. These little changes, these lights change very quickly, so there's no excuse to cross when it is red. That's coming in, signed from a concerned parent.
Get your tyres ready for winter. Call into Ulster Tyres in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet today.
St Columba's College Dunurler are accepting applications for first-year enrolment for the 2022-2023 academic year from Monday, November 8th until Monday, November 29th. Application forms are available on their website, stcolumbuscollege.ie, or from the school office on 074 9131 246.
Make Christmas for everyone this year with great gift ideas at Dunnes Stores. There's a gift set for everyone in the family, from brands like Dove, Simple and Nivea, now half price. Or surprise the coffee connoisseur in your life with a Krups Piccolo coffee machine, was $49.95, now $29.95. Plus, with our 10/50 grocery voucher, you save even more. Dunnes Stores. Make Christmas for everyone. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher can be used on next grocery shop of €50 or more.
Did you know the Personal Injuries Assessment Board is Ireland's state body for assessing personal injury claims? We are fair and independent and use the exact same guidelines as the courts to calculate compensation. But our process is nearly 2 years faster on average. Our costs are low too, an average of 20 times lower than the cost of litigation. The Personal Injuries Assessment Board. Similar compensation, faster resolution, fairer for all. Visit piab.ie for more information.
It's November Madness at Crawford Tiles and More Castlefin for 1 week only. There's 20% off all tiles in stock, 10% off all bathware, and 5% off carpet and vinyls. Fitters and delivery service available. That's Crawford's Mad Giveaway Sale for 1 week only. Ends Wednesday the 10th of November. Call 9143942.
Are you looking for a full-time permanent job in Donegal? As Zeus in Letterkenny continues to grow, machine operators are now wanted to join their production team. Go to work@zeus.com to apply. Zeus is a family-owned company that puts people first. They offer competitive pay and benefits and a fantastic work environment. To learn how you can join the Zeus team, visit work@zeus.com today. That's work@zeus.com.
Highland Radio weather updates with National Fuels, delivering home heating oil to Letterkenny and the surrounding areas at competitive prices. National Fuels, 9137 400.
Okay, let's look at the weather forecast for today. Now, patchy rain or drizzle has cleared the region at this point. It's leaving a day of sunny spells and passing showers behind. Temperatures of 11 to 13 degrees and mostly moderate southwest breezes. Now, tonight, a few showers overnight, but becoming mostly dry. Clear spells will develop widely, and it'll turn quite cold. Temperatures down to 3 to 7 degrees. Patches of mist and fog will form as winds fall light. Now, children who have a good relationship with their father are happier. They feel less anxious and are more engaged in physical activity. New ESRI research finds most 9-year-olds report getting on well with their father. We're joined now to discuss this by Professor Emer Smith, who's the lead author of the report. Good morning to you, and thank you very much for taking the call today.
Good morning.
It's good to have you with us. Right, okay. What was the purpose of this research to begin with? Like, what question were we trying to get an answer to? Or maybe it's obvious.
No, it's not obvious at all. There's been a lack of research on fathers in Ireland, but the Growing Up in Ireland study provides very rich information because we interview the fathers of all the children, and we followed this group from 9 months to 9 years of age. So really the focus was to look at the kinds of involvement that fathers have in their children's day-to-day lives, and to look at the kinds of relationships there are and the implications of those relationships for child outcomes.
So it's not just if fathers are present or not, it's the relationship with their children if they are present with them.
Yes, okay. We focus very much on two-parent families. So we were able then to look at fathers who were present for that whole period of the child's life.
All right, pick out for you, what were the key findings for us?
The key finding, I think, really was the importance, the critical nature, actually, of involvement of fathers in the first year of the child's life, because we find that sets the tone for later on. So fathers who are more involved when the child was a baby are more likely to be involved than when they get to 5 and 9 years of age. It also helps foster a more positive relationship between the child and the father, and that has positive benefits for fathers and children. So for children, it helps enhance their well-being, and it means they're more involved in physical activity. And for fathers, it means they're less stressed in their role as a parent if they have a good relationship with the child.
Do we have any previous information to compare this to? Like, are we seeing an improvement in the situation or a disimprovement?
We haven't, because actually this is the first longitudinal study of children in Ireland. We get some hints from other sources like the health of school-age children, which is a kind of cross-sectional. That's a snapshot study. And they've shown that over time, children are more likely to say they have a positive relationship with their father and will talk to him about a problem. Mm-hmm. So there does seem tentative evidence there of the improvement, but we haven't had an evidence base to look at fathers' involvement in kind of previous generations.
So we know then that a father involved early on, it bodes well then for later in life. That's from a child's perspective. Did this look at the benefit for fathers in
Well, the benefit there is really around kind of feeling less stressed in the role as a father. We didn't look at other father outcomes, but we could do in the future. But definitely, it made parenting easier if they were more involved in a way and had a better relationship.
What about fathers' relationships with girls versus boys?
We saw kind of two things that seem kind of quite contradictory. We see, first of all, when they're babies, there's no gender difference in fathers' involvement. But as they get older, fathers spend a bit more time or more frequently kind of doing things with their sons, and they be around play and also about kind of outings. But on the other hand, then fathers say they get on better with their daughters, and daughters say they get on better with their fathers than their male equivalents do. Yeah. Do we know a father's more likely to be good or bad cop? We don't know that, actually. We didn't get into that, and actually we tried to focus on the kind of more positive involvement, because I think just focusing on like discipline or it's not necessary. It's not the whole story.
I know,
so
of course it's not. But there is quite a bit, and this is not pitching one sex against the other. There's a lot of focus on mums, rightly so, and because they have to carry the child, they go through the birth, and if the child decide to breastfeed, they're ultimately almost responsible for that. Obviously, you can bottle it as well, but you know where I'm coming from. Yeah. Not necessarily a great deal of focus on how fathers feel, in terms of new dads particularly, how their lives changed, the pressures on them. It could be financial, maybe they could be the sole worker, though that's obviously not going to be exclusively the case. What did we learn about that?
Well, we find that definitely, the whole period of parenthood, at the beginning of parenthood, and especially for first-time fathers and mothers, both are kind of more stressed than they'll be later on. But we do definitely kind of conclude that there's been a lack of discussion about fathers' role. I mean, there's a lot of good information by the Department of Children, who cooperated with this study, and the HSE for parents. But maybe we need to name fathers and say, well, reassure fathers that they have a role to play. Obviously, mothers are key, and we've spent a lot of time researching their impact, but this kind of fills out the picture a bit. Yeah, and also too, and as I say, I'm not sure if it's contained really or examined much in this report. I'm thinking of fathers here of 9-year-old childs who couldn't spend time with their as much time as they want. Now, it could be maybe because of a relationship breakdown, or it could be because of work commitments that they felt they had to be absent. And they're listening to this going, yeah, I can hear that, but life dictated this. This wasn't my decision to disengage. Absolutely, and none of this is saying it's driven by fathers. In fact, we strongly emphasise the fact that long working hours in particular, are a barrier to involvement, especially in the first year of life. And this cohort of children were born before fathers were entitled to paid paternity leave. But at the same time, we have good information on whether fathers took up more flexible or family-friendly working arrangements, like flexible hours and, say, working from home a bit. And we find that really pays off in terms of fathers' involvement. So there are barriers and constraints, and the situation has improved in terms of parents' leave and being available, but sometimes financially it might be difficult to take that up. Now, the study also says fathers who had a more traditional view of their role, emphasised their financial responsibility as a male parent, tended to be less involved with the children and have less positive relationships with them. Are we talking maybe to the type of father figure that we might have seen generations ago? Is that what is a traditional view of? We asked fathers kind of like about different aspects and how important they thought they were in their role as a father, and almost all the fathers emphasised, as you would expect, love and support and care for the child. But there was a group of fathers who placed quite a strong emphasis on themselves as a financial provider. And that does seem to influence their kind of nature of their involvement in the role as a father, whether they're hands-on. Actually, and that group ended up feeling a bit more stressed as a parent.
Yeah, okay. And given other than sort of giving us a view of this, a snapshot of it, what comes from this, do you think, Emer? Like, where do we go with this information?
Well, this was part of a kind of research partnership with the Department of Children. So they will be looking carefully at the findings. I think there is two sets of implications for policy. The first is the need to kind of facilitate fathers. We need government and employers to facilitate fathers to take leave. Could
that also extend to the courts, for example? There are dads perhaps listening here that through a court order feel that they're, even though it's not on the basis of any, abuse or anything like that that feel they're not permitted to have the level of access that they feel they could have to be more beneficial to their child. Would it extend to that area as well?
Potentially, and in the future, we did collect information from fathers who weren't living with their children, but that hasn't been released yet.
Okay.
We did ask the children themselves about their relationships with dads who weren't living with them. And we do find that the level of contact, especially staying over, fosters a more positive relationship. And also that where there's a positive relationship maintained between the mother and the father, that helps. So they're kind of key things in terms of maybe around family breakdown.
And people can draw their own conclusions from that, but what our conclusion I think you can draw, and obviously it's not easy all the time, but if both parents can at the very least be civil and accommodate the child with both parents as much as possible, it's putting the child first.
Yeah, obviously that helps. So it might have implications for kind of having family mediation services and so on available to help that, But obviously there are cases where, things are more complex.
Yeah, and I think people will be able to sort of insert their own situation into the various categories that we're talking of. And okay, interesting stuff. But I suppose the takeaway, most 9-year-olds report getting on very well with their dad.
Yeah, and I think that's very positive.
Yeah.
They get on as well with their dad as with their mother.
Okay. So, Professor, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, that's Professor Emer Smith there, 08660 25,000. Does anyone know the answer to this one? If I leave Letterkenny Shopping Centre, I'm heading over the Pierce Road. Which lane do I take? On the two lanes that are there, they have only 1 arrow each. One says left, the other right. So if you're going straight, which lane do you get into? I've only ever used the left, but only actually noticed the signs this morning. If you're exiting out of the shopping centre. And I suppose then you're meeting traffic that's coming, I don't know the names of roads, that would be coming down from here, Mountain Top, joining that. I was in the left lane going straight on. I probably shouldn't admit this. I thought I was in the right lane, but then someone on the inside lane cut straight across me. Maybe that left lane is for left only, or straight on if you're coming out of the shopping centre. It's all very confusing. Anyone know the rules of the road? Get in touch, 08660 25,000. That's something we're going to have to return to tomorrow. That's all.